search and rescue. Now they use drones. You don't literally need a helicopter, except to go out and pick people up. But you don't need them. Look, they use them in war. They use drones.
Right. Here we're up.
So it's an incredible technology.
If you believe that pets help people live a better, richer life, and you want to build something you're passionate about, we want to talk to you. Pet Supplies Plus is looking for franchise owners in this area. It's no secret Americans spend lavishly on their pets, as much as $66 billion annually, and that number has grown every year, even in challenging economic times. Pet Supplies Plus is a premier retail franchise with over 29 years of experience. Our ability to source new and exciting products, keep prices competitive, and provide a fantastic customer experience is unmatched. No wonder we're ranked by Consumer Magazine as the #1 franchise opportunity in the pet category. Franchisees with some of America's biggest brands have added Pet Supplies Plus to their portfolio.
Hi. I just wanted to pop in and say hi. I'm Mallory. I met you once before. I work with Cindy, Ralph. I just wanted to come by and say hi. I'm working with her again here. I think I worked with her, and I saw you guys in an Avalanche game.
Exactly. A couple years ago. Yeah.
I worked with them for a year, but I had to work from 8 a.m. to midnight, and the team was terrible, so back in radio. But I just wanted to come say hi. He said you were going to be on the air today. So.
Thank you. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
for sure. Cindy says hi. And yeah, just let's go through anything.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. You guys have a good show.
7,867-7000, idealhomeloans.com. Equal opportunity lender regulated by DORA. NMLS 1367756. For terms and conditions, call 844-45-IDEAL.
An important message from Medicare. It's Medicare open enrollment now through December 7th.
Time to go online and look at all your Medicare plan choices.
Like prescription drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans for private insurance.
For lower cost, more benefits. I'm open to that.
And this year, so can your health or call.
So you guys know we're on Facebook and YouTube, so during the commercial break, we're still up on there. We're not on the radio, but
$1,000 right now. Text the keyword bills.
But you don't have to watch your mouth as much. just your
as much. Yeah. They're listening.
They are listening.
This is the Troubleshooter Show.
Now, Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate.
Welcome to the show. I'm Tom Martino. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. That's the number. Welcome. Today we talk about anything you want. Problems, questions, complaints. If anyone lied to you, ripped you off, cheated you in any way, and you need help from me, give us a call. 303-713-TALK. I also invite you to check out our referral list at referrallist.com. Also our Facebook page, it's Referral List on Facebook, and you can see us live on Facebook, live on YouTube. You can hear us live on the iHeart Radio app, live on KHOW Radio, KRDO Radio, and today we have in the studio some tax help. Not tax as in accounting, but tax as in problems, audits, back taxes, any questions you may have. We have Larson Tax Relief with us. Any questions you may have on tax problems. If you have not filed in a long time, you may want to give us a call. If you've gotten threatening notices from the IRS, you may want to give us a call. If you think your account has been hacked, you may want to give us a call. If you are facing any tax issue, you may want to give us a call. The number 303-713-TALK. Larson Tax Relief in the house. I also want to talk about a few other things like credit cards. Credit cards. You know, there are some people who say you should not have credit cards. Credit cards are a bad thing. I think credit cards are great. I think having a line of credit and a credit card is great. The problem comes with the misuse of credit, just like the misuse of drugs. To not have any credit cards, in my opinion, is foolish, unless you're a drug addict, a credit addict. If you have several credit cards, and when you buy something, you calculate the minimum payment, and you say to yourself, oh, I can afford 20 bucks a month, so I'm going to charge something here. And on another card you say, oh, I can afford $18 a month, so I buy something on this card. and you have 6 or 7 or 8 cards, and then you want to go on a vacation you otherwise couldn't afford, and you put it on a credit card, well, then that's not the right thing to do. I believe credit cards are good for a few reasons. What are they good for? They're good for, first of all, if you get cash back, it's good. If you pay them off in the 30-day period, usually no credit charges at all. And they make a record of your purchase. But most important of all, they protect you. If you make a purchase on a credit card, you can contest it. If you write a check, you can't. If you use a debit card, you can't. If you give a money order, you can't. If you give cash, you can't. With a credit card, you have protection. And right now, we have contractors out the nose taking money from people and not doing the work. The latest complaints we have gotten have been from contractors, even off of your so-called reliable list like Angie's List, Home Advisor, and especially Craigslist. Yeah. So, if you give money up front and they don't take a credit card, well, you got to ask yourself why. Or if they insist on cash or a check, you have to ask yourself why. Credit cards are a useful tool. Also, when you get money back or you get points, some people have paid their taxes on credit cards. Now, I'm not suggesting that you don't pay your credit card back. I say don't charge anything you can't pay for in 3 months of payments or less. That's a good rule of thumb. You get protection and you build credit. I'd like to ask Larson Tax Relief about paying with credit cards if it's cheaper than trying to finance through the IRS. When people owe back taxes, let's say they are legit taxes that you can't get dismissed. Whoever wants to talk with us today, I have Jack with me, Jack Larson, one of the principals of Larson Tax Relief. We also have a staff attorney, Steve Sizik, and he is on staff there, and of course, a tax advisor. What do you think about that? Are they better off paying with a credit card or trying to finance through the IRS? When I say finance, when you owe taxes and you don't have the money, you send in what you can pay, right, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, as to your question on the credit card versus financing through the IRS is the worst bank in the world. Their interest rates are astronomical. So
what are they?
It's 1 point over prime, but it accrues daily.
Daily.
So
what is that? What would $1,000 be owed over a year? Do you know what that would be?
Yeah, off the top, I couldn't tell you, but
but it's an effective rate of over what, 20 or 30%?
35%. You know, so if you're looking at a credit card, even at a 20% rate, which is pretty high for a credit card, you're better off just paying it with a credit card and then paying the credit card company back.
You heard that. Mark, it's your turn. You have a tax problem. You owe money. 303-713-TALK. We have open lines, as we do in the beginning of the show. You can get right through. Of course, we don't have a single topic show, but we are talking taxes, tax relief. If you have any other problems, call us as well at 303-713-TALK. So, Mark, what is your tax problem?
Well, I missed a few W-9s. I had a trucking business. And,
a W-9 is...
Not a W-9, or a 1099 is what I meant.
Okay, 1099.
So anyway, they sent me a bill for $12,000 and something.
So Mark, you did not file. Is that what it was?
No, I filed, but I left out a couple of the 1099s from other trucking companies that I was.
I got you. So you did unreported income.
Yeah.
Now, usually, Steve, or Jack, there is no relief for unreported income, is there? I mean, that's not like something you can plead a case. I mean, how do you plead a case with someone who didn't file the proper income?
Yeah, I mean, if you file a return and you didn't include the 1099, you owe the taxes. You know, I mean, as far as why you didn't file, that's something we could talk about for sure.
Could you possibly get the penalties erased? I'm wondering.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something we could look into specifically. Absolutely.
So at times you were able to get the penalties removed, but they still have to pay the interest.
Right. If you owe the taxes, you owe the taxes. You got to pay that, and there's going to be an interest component because, once again, it's not a free bank. So if you didn't pay your taxes on time, there's going to be an interest component. But the penalties certainly we can talk about.
Okay. So Mark,
yeah.
How much does it come to?
It was $12,000 some change.
The bill?
The penalties, the penalties were $2,000 of that. So it was. I sent them a check for right at $10,000 and asked for an abatement on the penalty and taxes, or penalty and interest.
They won't ever abate interest, will they, guys? No.
Never abate interest.
Okay.
Right.
So what did they say about the penalty?
They refused. They just sent me a nasty gram back. Said no, I owe them the money.
What do you do in a case like that?
You got a couple options. You can appeal that determination, and certainly in that letter that you received that denied the first request, it does give you an option to appeal within 60 days. The IRS in a lot of cases, like trying to apply to Harvard, they're going to reject you the first time just to see how serious you are.
What is the reason? What are some of the reasons they would accept, do you think, for waiving penalties?
There's actually a bulleted list of things. So typically, you have to prove that there was something that happened outside of your control or you didn't anticipate.
They didn't. What if they didn't issue the 1099?
Didn't get the 1099. You had a situation. You had a death or illness in the family that caused you to not be able to, get your bookkeeping. There was a fire. You lost your paperwork. Anything that just is reasonable that says, look, you know what? There's no way I could have known about this 1099. Therefore, I couldn't have included it in my return. If you were just negligent and you just didn't collect the 1099 or you lost it at some point, that's going to be a harder argument to make.
And that would be me, because I was trucking in North Dakota, and when I moved back to Colorado, I had lost part of my paperwork.
I don't think that's going to be a good excuse.
Right. The other option, and you can take a look at...
And remember this, with larceny, you have to have it worth hiring them to do it. I mean, they're a great company to have when you're facing a lot of debt, but for a $2,000 bill, I don't think it would be worth it.
Sure, and it might be, worth trying to ask for what's called a first-time abatement request. You might call them and just ask them to try to process that. If this is the first time you've had tax liability in the last several years, there is a code provision that you can invoke. I literally say, do I qualify for a first-time abatement? You can call them and ask for that.
All right, so call and ask for the first-time abatement.
Right, and they might abate it just outright using that provision. You either qualify for it or if you don't, but if you do qualify, that'll save you $2,000.
303-713-TALK. What is the amount people should start looking at larceny tax for help? Is there an amount? Jack?
Yeah, I think if you owe more than $10,000, we can talk, and there may be a reason.
A benefit.
There may be a benefit, correct.
Because obviously you charge for your service, and you don't want people calling that it's not going to help them. But you can still give advice. So even if you owe less than that, or you have a problem less than 10 grand, give us a call. This is the time to call. But larceny tax relief is primarily for those facing audits or the possibility of owing more than 10 grand, penalties, other things. I know that you guys are not like a lot of these organizations. You don't give false hope. I do your commercials. You don't say, so-and-so owed $999,000 in taxes and we got her to pay 9 cents. You don't say that. So, but I do want to know, for the heck of it, some of the really great scenarios you have had. I am giving a disclaimer saying it's not all the time. It might be rare, but I still want to talk about it coming up. I'm Tom Martino. We have a lot to talk about. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255.
This report is brought to you by Walden. For the most part, the drive in the highways in the metro area has improved quite a bit over the past half hour. It looks like that earlier crash in the tech center northbound I-25 has been cleared. Still residual backups. It is improving, though. Big delays down Commerce City. Crash westbound I-270 approaching Vasquez. That's got traffic backed up to the I-70 interchange. And I want to use I-70 northbound I-25 to get around that.
Is this about this lawsuit? No, it's about self-management.
For more real-time traffic updates on your route, download the new Total Traffic app powered by Traffic Karma. The weather forecast, partly sunny later today with a cool high of 15. Right now, overcast from 34.
My phone is not lighting up.
K-How.
So only the first line is. So I have to run over here to answer the phone to put it up on.
Okay,
and so I'm just letting you know.
Or have
her
call and put it on hold.
She is.
And then go
if you see me running back and
forth. But you can talk to him on your phone.
I can talk to him on my phone.
She'll tell you.
But I can't see what's going on.
That's fine.
But IT's coming up. So stop touching.
I didn't. But man, I'm telling you, I have had a tough time. I'm having one of my electrical storage things. I've been really crashing.
Not big on frills, but
I do. I go through this period, and I don't know when. It's a certain. I don't know what. I'm trying to figure out what it is. I can't wear watches because they stop.
303-295-6022.
Except the winder.
Coloradans 62 and older. Are you not feeling as financially secure as you'd like to?
The radio in my airplane.
Are you retiring or experiencing a life change?
Some guy was flying me and said, I want to show you something. I like this.
American financing.
And it goes.
Most mortgages are loans that pay you monthly by using the equity of your home. They also protect your spouse from possibly losing.
I have some crazy shit that happened. I was online with somebody, AT&T, and they said, hit the link, and I said, I'm hitting it, it's not going anywhere. So she was really getting upset with me. She thought I was jerking her around, so I said, I want to get this transaction done. So
confident about living your golden years with financial comfort and security. Their mortgage consultants are salary-based, so conversations are simple, straightforward, and honest. Call American Financing today at 303-695-7000.
She tells the lady, look, I'm right here looking at it. And it's not
or online at
So then the woman did a screen share with me. And thought,
hey, it's Ross.
And she disconnected.
Have you been following the government?
She didn't know what to do, so she disconnected. I had some woman in India. I had to know. I was on for 2 hours with him trying to get this phone deal.
Are partnering on a series of interviews with the leading Republican gubernatorial candidates that you do not want to miss. Tune in to 630 KHOW on Tuesday, November 14th at 7 p.m.
I have a hangar at Centennial.
I
used to have a hangar on the Front Range.
It's Tuesday, November 14th at 7 p.m.
Tune in.
When it comes to your water supply in your home, there are so many things that you need to know. First of all, you want to make sure that it's healthy, and almost all water is unhealthy. Even with government standards, you still have trace amounts of medications, metals, and materials. So filtration, in my
good news is, I had a $3.5 million settlement negotiated with bankruptcy court. This was all commercial real estate. I don't owe anything. I never owed consumer debt ever. I never screwed anybody. It was a business bankruptcy.
We have a master plumber
who is, because I didn't qualify for a regular bankruptcy, but it was a business bankruptcy. And
filter your water
the good part about that is they let me sell stuff to put it toward the settlement. Normally what they do is they give you a settlement. You have to pay that settlement plus they take your
.com 720-219.
But this was just, I have to say, I took a giant hit, but I owed a shitload of money and my real estate went to nothing. I resent the fact that they called it due. Because I was making my payments. That's the biggest problem, is when banks call notes due when you're making your payments. They can't do that with a home mortgage otherwise. But what's called Regulation Z and Dodd-Frank, when you own property, if you're making your payments, did you know this, Dan? It doesn't matter if you're making your payments. I had a parking lot.
Right, I remember you said that.
I was making all my payments, but the parking lot value went down to half. And they said, well, this loan's not secure. I said, so close your eyes for 2 or 3 years. It'll be back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if you make me sell it, I have to fire sale it, and then that's going to bring down everyone else's value. And we will have a recession. And of course we did, because everyone was forced to sell. Had they just did, I said, why doesn't the government, I talked to the FDIC, they literally talked to me because one of my banks failed and they were collecting the debt. And I said, if you did a moratorium for 2 or 3 years and you don't force fire sales, you won't destroy property values. I said, you're actually creating more of a problem. He said, I know, but we can't do a moratorium.
That's the law. The bank has to have so much equity.
To keep my hands on myself.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Welcome to the show. Hey, Deputy Daff. By the way, Suzanne and Mark, if you don't hear the loudmouth, Mark, he's on vacation. And sweet Suzanne is on vacation with him. So that's why it's pretty silent here. Daff.
Yes, sir.
Was Andy somebody who called in off the air? He doesn't want to come on?
He is at work and he cannot come on.
Andy says he was $100,000 in tax debt. Larson got the bill down to $1,600. Holy crap. Holy crap. Now, these guys don't like me advertising stuff like that. They don't. Here's what they say. We can't do that all the time, Tom. In fact, I would hear other companies advertise and say to them, hey, let's give some examples of pennies on the dollar and offers and compromise. And they said no, because it's rare. And I said, but come on. But so what they say is they'll get you the best possible resolution. That's what I read in my commercials. And I say, okay, that's cool. But I love this example. This is a real deal. Do any of you remember Andy? Do you? You have so many clients, you probably don't.
Right, we have a lot of clients, so Andy doesn't really ring a bell.
Okay, so Andy, that's cool. $100,000 down to $1,600, you rock. I just paid it off. So, do you have any other examples I asked for? Do you have any other examples, guys? That come to mind?
Yeah, obviously there's been a law. I've been doing this for about a decade.
How about innocent spouse? The husband's a crooked fool.
Yeah, I actually have an interesting case where a client of mine was a tax attorney, international tax attorney.
Really?
Yeah, accrued a couple $1 million in liability, and there's a couple of things going on that certainly we were able to resolve for him. He's fine. You know, he didn't go to jail or anything. He's paying it off. It's all good. But his wife had literally no idea what was going on because guess what? My husband's a tax attorney.
Can an innocent spouse get out of paying?
Yeah, on this particular case, she was assessed with his liability, and I was able to prove with his assistant that she
had nothing to do with it.
She literally trusted him because of his education and his position, and she was absolved of all that. I
take it that you guys know famous cases because you are in the business. So Willie Nelson comes to mind, Wesley Snipes comes to mind. I'm going to be asking you some questions if you have any idea why they went to jail. Not jail. Willie had to pay. Wesley went to jail. Just coming up. I just would like to know. Larry has an Obamacare credit question. Go ahead, Larry. What's happening?
Yes, this is a little different than.
Oh, that's okay. No, we're not a one-topic show. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I don't owe the IRS any money. The IRS actually owes me over $10,000.
For tax credits on Obama?
Correct.
And you didn't get the tax credits?
No. Here's what's happened. I actually got a file. I was out of some work last year, so I qualified to get some of my $20,000 back in premiums. And what happened is I got like an audit letter, I guess you call it, in May, demanding some documents, which we sent, which was, by the way, the same one sent originally with the file.
And what happened?
Well, what they said was they needed them by May 30th, which was like 10 days. I did so, and then 2 months later, I got a letter, which is a recurring letter I get about once every 5 or 6 weeks, that says it's still under review, we're very, very busy, and we'll get back to you. And you can call if you have a question about it. So I did call. And after 90-something minutes on hold, they went home for the day and disconnected me.
All right, so where does it stand? What are we talking about right now?
Well, where it stands is they still owe me the money. They have not gotten back except for those letters saying they're still reviewing it. They're just very busy. And I just want to know, is there really anything I can do without pissing them off, and then now they audit me every year or something?
You know, you guys don't do anything in this regard, right? When it comes to tax credits when people have not been paid their tax credits for Obamacare. I wonder if Integra Insurance, they are healthcare brokers. Let's talk to Integra. Hold on a sec, okay? We'll see if we can get somebody from Integra on. What's going on with Barry? Hello, Barry.
Hi.
Is it Barry or Barry?
Barry.
Barry, okay. Yeah. What's happening?
Well, I have a question for your tax man. We're looking at having to start taking required minimum distributions from a 401k.
Now, why do you have to do that? Because you're old?
No. Actually, yeah, that is the...
How old are you?
70, would be 70 and a half.
Okay, yeah, and you just want to keep accumulating. At some point, they say, take the money.
Yeah, you have to. You have to start taking these withdrawals.
So what is your question?
Well, and I know that the money is taxable, but does the IRS expect me to make those quarterly payments throughout the year, or are they willing to wait until the following April 15th to collect those taxes?
Oh, that's an interesting. You mean to tell me you take the income, because they don't give you like a W-2 when you take a 401k. You take a 401k and then you get I guess don't you pay them at the end of the year, guys? Or does he have to do quarterly?
Yeah, I mean, typically...
It depends on how much, really.
It does depend on how much, what your tax liability would be. But, I mean, if you're talking over $1,000 of tax liability, you need to be making estimated tax.
How much? You have to have paid in 90% of the previous year's tax bill. That's really what it is. So if you're not paying in 90% of the previous year's tax bill, then you are going to be fined.
So better have that money ready for them on a quarterly
How much
basis.
is your income going to be?
It's going to go up.
No, like how much will you be getting from your 401k?
About $26,000.
26 a year?
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's going to.
And what is your income now?
Around 60.
So it's possible that you're going to have another. You're gonna be close, but there's nothing wrong. Listen, let's put it this way: you owe the money, and if you owe the money, paying quarterly is not going to hurt you.
Right.
So the question is to be safe, pay quarterly. Now, some people do some sneaky stuff when they have W-2s, and they can control it. What they do is they take payments through the year. This is if you have a close-knit employer or self-employed. They take paychecks through the year and a giant paycheck in the third quarter, and then take most of their taxes out in that quarter. If you call it a bonus, you get away with it. If they say you truly earned it during the whole year and they audit you, you could get in trouble. Have you guys ever had cases like that where people get big bonuses and the IRS penalize them because they said they should have paid tax on it throughout the year?
That's one where, the penalty can come out, but you can typically appeal that.
Yeah, because truly,
you can show that you didn't
truly
know.
you don't know what your bonus is going to be.
Right.
And if it truly is paid in that December month, paid, and not accrued, but paid, then you can make the argument.
Right, and typically when you can win, you can just show that the bonus was not a guarantee and you had no idea whether you're going to get it or not, then how were you going to pay in with, on a contingent income.
Exactly. Hey, Mark wants to buy a car on Craigslist. Uh-oh. Hold on, Mark. John Jones with Integra Insurance. John, is this John or Johnny?
This is Old Man John.
Old Man John. Hey, John, listen, man. A question. If you have tax credits coming because half of the year you're unemployed, the guy's still listening. He's not on the air, so I can't ask follow-up questions. But the way I take it is he became unemployed and then was due to get tax credits in the middle of the year due to a change in life. Will they do that if you become unemployed in the middle of the year? Will they give you tax credits for the rest of the year?
If his income
went down.
His income went down.
It
so
did.
Technically, he would be eligible for Medicaid if he's unemployed.
But what if, but he paid his, here's what he did. He continued to pay his premium till the end of the year. He wants to get tax credits retroactive.
You got it through Connect for Health. Yeah. Tom, this is John Jr.
Yes.
If you got the plan through Connect for Health Colorado, yes. If you got it directly through a carrier, no.
Okay. That's what we have to find out. If you're listening, sir, you just heard that. Call us back, and we'll call back Integra Insurance. Integra, by the way, we are in open enrollment, and as these guys at Integra Insurance say, they are the closest thing to a charity there is when it comes to business, because they get paid literally pennies on the dollar for health insurance, for writing health insurance with you. So you don't save any money going direct. You don't. So if you're going to the health care exchange, call Integra first. Let them help you find a plan for you. It's impossible to try to wade through all these plans. Their number is 303-466-5500, 303-466-5500. Okay? And they're on my referral list at referralist.com. One Clear Choice Garage Doors. If you have a garage door and you need help, give them a call. You woke up and it didn't open, call them. They have emergency service. They also have free inspections, safety tune-ups, and adjustments. All you have to do is mention Martino. You get it free. And then they give you a written report on the door. They put the sticker there. They want to be your company, so take advantage of that. 303-565-6409. 565-6409. OneClearChoiceDoors.com.
Are you looking for a medical clinic with an affordable... Do you guys think Dodd-Frank was way overkill? So how much could Trump dial it back? How much should it be dialed back?
Well, which part of Dodd-Frank?
Well, so big.
Well, which part?
I think the bank...
There's qualifications. If the biggest problem is with the banks,
yes.
The banks margin. The margin. Yes. Okay. Banks used to be able to loan out 5 times more, 4 times. Okay. Now, and then here's what went wrong with that. They said to banks, here's how the recession started. First, someone said, uh-oh, there were a few people defaulting on mortgages, and they said, uh-oh, if banks fail, not because they are in danger, if banks fail, we don't have enough money to cover them. We can't go on the air and say, ladies and gentlemen, the FDIC doesn't have enough money to insure you.
So, I don't know which ones you want to do. These three are all in the first 2 hours?
Oh, they are also in the first 2 hours, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we can't really move because I don't know. Yeah, this is only the 3rd hour, right?
Yes.
So, really, let's just keep it the way it is.
Okay.
Okay? They're also, in other words, they're buying more than one spot, so I can't just take them off. So, I'll just work them in.
Okay.
Now, thank you for telling me this, so I won't work those in, is what I'm saying. I know what you mean. Thank you. That's good to know.
Okay.
Right. Now, so they said, we don't have enough we don't have enough to bank fail. So what they did is they went and changed the ratio.
So everybody was already planning on the 5 to 1.
Right. So when they changed the ratios, see, if they went on the air, we would have another depression. If they went on the air and said the FDIC is short of money, well, the next day there'd be a run on the bank. So instead they went and said, hey, bankers, you need to lower your portfolios. You need to get from 70% real estate to 40% real estate. So they start calling people like me saying, we're calling your loan due. But, and then they also said, oh, and you can't loan 5 times, you got to only loan 3 times. So they start calling loans due that are not bad. So when everyone gets loans called due, they start selling because they don't have the money. I tried to explain this to a fucking Post reporter. Who has the money to pay all their loans at once?
Right. That's why I got a loan.
Right, that's right. That's why I got a loan. I'm not, a deadbeat is someone who doesn't make payments. A deadbeat is not someone who doesn't have principal. So I didn't have principal. So in the newspaper they say, Martino's $60 million in debt, and he only has $30 million worth of real estate. So he's net $30 million in debt. It looks like, how did Tom get in $30 million of debt? Well, any business in the world is in $30 million of debt. So it's such a travesty. Was I late on a car payment? Was I late on mortgage? Did I ever not pay tax? No. They manufactured it. There were so many bankruptcies.
But most people, the average person doesn't own a business, has never been in charge of a business or payroll or anything like that. So
no, so they don't know. So these goddamn reporters would do stories about Martino in $30 million debt. People are thinking, oh my God, he went out, he must have lived like a king and been irresponsible. And I didn't have one debt, not one personal debt. But it looked like I was a deadbeat. And I said, wait a minute, it's because my real estate went down $30 million. I didn't not. Well, then why don't you pay it off? No one has that money. No one keeps enough money to pay off all their loans. But you can't explain it because news doesn't want explanations. They want headlines.
They want headlines.
There's no explanation. You never get to explain. You never do because they don't understand it. When you say stuff like that, you sound like you're a scammer. Oh, yeah, sure. You know, it's like, God, it's so frustrating when you literally were a good steward of your money, you paid all of your bills, and you're forced to do a bankruptcy. Forced. Yeah. Because the equity's not there. Had they done a moratorium, my property was worth about $90 to $125 a foot, went down to $40 a foot. Now it's $250. Had I been able to keep it, I would have been twice as rich. Twice. But I wasn't able to keep it. I had to give it up. So the people who bought it are rich. Yeah. They bought it
on the low. And
so here's another thing. The property went down to $40 a foot. And I said, why don't you let me pay my loans? I have 60%, I'll pay them. And they said, no, we can't make a deal. So they go and sell it for 20%. So wait a minute. I said to the FDIC, I'm willing to give you 60% on the dollar, and you just took it away from me and sold it for 20 cents.
Unreal.
They really did. It's true stories.
Yeah. To the friend.
Maybe I'm foolish. Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. Those who listen online or to the podcast would get great education on what we talk about during the break because it's all true, and it's just stuff we don't talk about on the air. So anyway, And we say a bunch of bad words. No, I'm just kidding. Mark does. I don't think I did I? 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Let me recap. We have Larson Tax Relief with us. We're talking about tax problems, penalties, audits, anything like that, okay? Owe taxes, didn't file taxes, call us. And then we're also talking about your problems, questions, complaints, whatever they are. Mark wants to talk about buying a car. Let's talk about, okay, 303-713-TALK, lines open. Mark, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
With your in-house guest there?
Yes.
This is just a question I hear every
Sure.
time I have. So, someone that's not paying their taxes intentionally, why do we want to bail them out and give them, like, if they haven't paid and they owe 10 grand and we end up...
They don't help people like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between someone who accrues some tax debt through maybe some payroll taxes that were missed based upon not having AR come in on time or something.
They truly don't help tax protesters or people who intentionally cheated. They don't help them.
Okay.
They just don't help them.
That in the radio ads.
Oh no, you don't hear these guys say that.
Yeah, that's not our ads.
I'm just saying, just in general, I'm just wondering.
We gave an example of a tax attorney who was in millions of dollars of debt. His wife had nothing to do with it. They got the wife free from the debt.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, they got another example where a guy owed money and they miscalculated it and they were assessing penalties and they got the penalties removed or they got the thing reduced. Okay, and then you have another one where in a million years the guy gave every dime he made the rest of his life, would never pay the tax debt, so they do an offer and compromise because they say, wait a minute, either we get nothing and the guy dies or we get something. So anyway, go ahead, Mark.
No, hey, that's great. I think we need to get rid of the death tax. That's my next thing.
For sure.
Hey, so question here. I've got a, well, actually, can we just do a quick shout-out to Thornton Police? Great job, guys.
For what?
Well, they caught the shooter.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good job, Thornton, because I give them hell for their speed traps, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, question. I'm out here trying to find a car on Craigslist. I went to this dude.
Why Craigslist? Why? Why Craigslist?
Well, because I don't want to get dicked around with...
okay, but why Craigslist? Did you nix that? You did? You nixed it? Okay, you can't say that word. You don't want to be messed around.
All right.
Okay, I didn't think it was bad. I wasn't going to nix you. Okay, okay, so here it is. Don't say that. So you don't want to be screwed around. I think you can say that. Okay, you don't want to be screwed around. Well, but not all dealers screw you around. First of all, I want to tell you something.
Well, look, I got a tight amount of money.
I'm going to tell you where to buy it. Listen, here's where you buy it. Not on Craigslist. Go to Blinker.com or download the app Blinker. They're on my referral list. Here's why. They have private owners that list their cars. They verify the owners. They verify the mileage. They verify that it's a real deal, so you're not going to get the phony check thing. Then, listen to this, they verify you, and they can get you financing on someone else's car. So it's like going to a dealer. How many people have cash? Not many. So you can go to Blinker, buy a car, and get it financed. That's what you do.
All right, I can check that out, because this guy posted it like 500. I showed up, he wants $4 grand.
Don't do it.
Well, then here's what he said, though. He said, hey, I put it on there so I would get attention. But my goal is, I got to charge $4 grand. He said, nobody would come look at it if I posted $4 grand.
You know what, Mark, I get so many people who get ripped off on Craigslist. They have absolutely no standards.
Yeah.
So will you do me a favor, truly? Don't just shine me off. Go and look at Blinker.com or the Blinker app on your phone. Blinker. I want you to look, because it's for buying and selling. So if you have a car to sell, you take a picture of it, you'll be amazed. It's intuitive. The thing tells you how to do everything. When you go to buy, it'll tell you what to do and when to do it. It'll give you step-by-step instructions if you want to finance that loan. Listen, by the way, the only affiliation I have with them, they're on my referral list, so I really think it's a great deal. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to spell it out, because it sounds like you're saying Blinker.
Blinker, like, turn signal.
B-W-I-N-K-E-R?
Yeah, like a turn signal. Blinker.com. Blinker.
Okay, but it's B-W-I-N-K-E-R?
No, Blinker like B-L. I'm going to do it. Bravo, Lima.
Perfect.
India, November, Kilo, Echo, Romeo.
Yeah, I was hearing Bravo, Washington.
Yeah, that's not it.
Blinker.
All right.
Blinker.
Like the turn signal. Yeah.
I'll keep you posted, boss.
Thanks, man. Let me know. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. I'm going to take Billy, who wants to talk about Kaiser. I don't know if we need Integra or not, but Willie Nelson, what was his tax problem? Larson Tax Relief is with us. I'm asking about some famous cases. Do you remember what Willie Nelson was, what his problem was?
I think he had a bunch of 1040, yeah, a bunch of 1040 income taxes.
Because his accountant didn't pay it.
Exactly. He wasn't paying attention, obviously.
Why didn't his accountant get blamed? Why did he have to, I mean, why does he get penalties and all that?
Well, Willie Nelson's got the name on the bottom line, so his CPA can, Willie would have to pursue his CPA independently.
Or maybe it was his manager.
It could be anybody. The IRS doesn't care. The person who owes the taxes, and they say, hey, you work it out with some third party if they made an error, but you got to pay us regardless. So they're not going to go and sue some third party. The IRS is going after the person who owes the taxes as a priority, and then you go in civil court and you go sue your CPA. Typically, a CPA doesn't have a dime anyway, so that's a problem. So you really got to be careful on who you hire and who you trust to do.
On November 9th, 1990, federal agents seized Nelson's properties in 6 states and assets, including boxes of master tapes, touring equipment, blah, blah, blah. A total estimated tax debt of $32 million. That much of his income was hidden in tax shelters. Willie Nelson truly didn't know it, and they believed him. It was mismanaged by his manager. After seizing his assets, they charged him with a debt of $16 million. And guess what? Of the $16 million, $10 million interest and penalties. Nelson was in big trouble. I'm skimming this, so forgive me. He finally settled for $9 million. More than $3 million of which already was paid off with stuff they took. In an effort to wipe out the remainder of his debt, he did a recording called Who'll Buy My Memories? The IRS tapes or something. Released in 1992. He literally did a tax payoff. But he'd have to wait. But if you do that, you're going to pay income on that, and then the rest goes toward that. Okay, so, wow. That's terrible. You would think they'd wipe out more penalties if truly he had no idea. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, how intentionally negligent he was.
I thought you would know stuff like this because you're in that business. But that was a long time ago. You were just a kid, right? 1990? Okay, so what about Wesley Snipes? Do you recall what his problem was? Anybody?
I think Wesley actually ended up going to jail because he knew what was going on, and he was an active participant and a willful contributor and trying to hide from tax.
He was literally, he said he didn't believe in paying taxes.
Right, and he pretty much buried himself when he said, to heck with you guys, I don't like the government. Well, government's going to put you in jail. So, that's, people should pay their taxes. That's the law.
That was in October 12, 2006. Wesley Snipes, who really is Eddie Ray Kahn. Oh, what a name. He's a con. He was charged with conspiring to defraud. Snipes was also charged with 6 counts of willfully failing to file income tax. He didn't even file. The conspiracy charge led to prison. He amended his return with over $4 million he owed. No, wait. He claimed he had a tax refund coming of $4 million and a false amended return. So he was in big trouble. This guy basically was a cheat. He was convicted of being a cheat. So Eddie Ray Kahn was convicted, otherwise known as Wesley Snipes. In 2008, Snipes was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Can you guys go to prison if you ever were a liar or a cheater? If anybody in your firm, any tax advisor, can a tax advisor go to jail if they're not the ones filing the tax, if it's their client? No, seriously, can they be charged with anything? I don't even know that. I've never heard of it.
There's various levels, but at some point, if you rise, typically a tax preparer or an advisor can just be penalized, and that can be, hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on how many returns they prepare and things of that nature. There's very little limit on that, and that's typically how far it goes. But there are situations where if a tax preparer is doing something fraudulent, they can go to jail. Don Eiley, he's going to jail because of that.
God, that one. We were instrumental in that, I'd like to say, and we uncovered it. We publicized it. The guy's going to prison. I want to tell you about Century RV's giant warehouse in Lakewood, just north of 6th Avenue. It's brand new. Now, they always had this place for years and years up at Highway 119, the Longmont turnoff on I-25. They're still there. But now they have a giant new warehouse, 30,000 square feet, so you can shop indoors for RVs, new and used. Listen to this. In celebration of this warehouse, they have marked down travel trailers as low, brand new ones now, as low as $99.95, $9,995, plus a huge selection of new and used RVs, Class A's, Class B's, Class C's. They also have, listen to this, $50,000 in discounts on the big new ones. So browse through 30,000 square feet. It's Monday through Saturday, 8 to 6. Century RV. You know what I say about us RV? It means real vacation. It's on your time schedule, not an airline. 303-453-1111, CenturyRV.com.
Andy guy that we helped, would I be able to get his phone number from you guys where I could...
Did Andy give us his phone number, the guy we helped? Oh, I'll ask her. Yeah, he would.
Did you want to get Integra on with, for drop by Kaiser?
Yeah. Yeah, just tell him. I'm not even sure they can help, but, you know, it adds a little fluff here when we can have our people on.
What a great success story for somebody to
called right in. Yeah.
I'm going to call them and say thanks for the business. That's great.
Yeah. I don't know.
You guys ought to keep track of that shit.
We typically do. I mean, we get hundreds of resolutions a month.
Yeah, we have... everybody turns in resolutions.
I hope I never need you.
I always say to my friends, I hope you never need me. If you do, I'm good at it.
Yeah, that's right. You know, that's when I finish a client's case, like, I hope to never speak with you again.
One thing.
Your computer's ready to go.
Turn off the broadband for a second. Turn off, let me know.
Today is the day you break the stranglehold of addiction. You and your family can't lose another precious day to this horrible disease. If you or someone you know is abusing alcohol, prescription drugs, hard illegal drugs, or if it's a mental health issue, anxiety, depression, or trauma related to substance abuse, please know you're not alone. There's help. Call the Raleigh House today. They've established a special number to address your concerns. 720-893-5559. That's 720-893-5559. The Raleigh House is a premier addiction recovery program located here in Colorado. You'll speak to someone local about different treatment options, all evidence-based treatments designed to help reduce substance abuse. No more excuses, no more denials. Get the help you need. Some health insurance covers the cost. Call today for a free, no-obligation consultation. The Raleigh House, 720-893-5559. 720-893-5559. Call today.
Affordable Interest Mortgage still has rates in the mid-3s. Do that upgrade that you've been putting off, or pay off that high interest rate debt, or just get ready for the holidays. Purchase your next home with only 2% down and no mortgage insurance. Take AIM, Affordable Interest Mortgage, 720-895-0500. We all know rates are going to go up, so why keep putting it off when you can borrow money in the 3s? Do you know paying mortgage insurance is like adding 1.5% to your current rate without the tax deduction? Why? Take AIM, 720-895-0500. Call now and find out how to pay off your home faster, save over $100,000 in excess interest that you get to keep, all without changing one penny of your spending habits. Take AIM, 720-895-0500. VA loans to 100% with cash out in the low 3s. We've been serving Colorado since 2001, where it's all about you is not just our motto, it's who we are. Get the respect you deserve. Affordable Interest Mortgage, 720-895-0500. NMLS 298191, regulated by DORA, equal credit lender.
80% of Fortune 500 companies lease their vehicles because that's the smart financial move. Hey, it's Ross Kaminsky for my friends at Alliance Leasing, who can help you save time and money and more money, and have been doing just that for Colorado businesses for more than 20 years. Alliance Leasing will get you into your fleet vehicles with all the upfit you need at the lowest delivered price. I'm a finance guy, and to me the choice of leasing with Alliance is the obvious one for your business. Learn more at alliance.lease. That's right, just type alliance.lease. Alliance Leasing, your key to the perfect fleet.
Walgreens has good news for everyone who uses Medicare Part B for diabetes testing supplies. We've got your back, or in this case, your test strips. Walgreens accepts Medicare assignment and full coverage supplemental insurance, so you'll pay as low as $0 out of pocket, which is the same as mail order. Pick up the medications you rely on and save on all major brands like One Touch and Walgreens True Metrics. That's not just good news, it's great news. Talk to your Walgreens pharmacist today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Whether you're running, biking, or even sleeping, the equipment you use matters. Beauty Rest is equipment for high-performance sleep to help you perform at your best. For a limited time, get a free Beauty Rest sleep tracker monitor with the purchase of select mattresses during our Beauty Rest high-performance sleep sale. Monitor your sleep to see the difference the right equipment can make. Find a retailer at beautyrestretailers.com. Get your Beauty Rest at the Sleep Store in Fort Collins or the Better Sleep Store in Fort Morgan.
Ross Kaminsky, mornings 5 to 10.
It's time for some Friday fun, and this time it'll be with one of the funniest guys around, comic Nate Bargatze. Nate's coming back to K-How for the second time, so join me and Nate Friday morning at 8:06 here on 630 K-How.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Let's talk to Billy. Says he was dropped by Kaiser. We're also talking taxes with Larson Tax Relief. If anyone has any tax problems, liabilities, audits, bills, let's talk, Billy. What's going on with you?
Hi, Tom. Thanks again. You've helped me before.
Okay, Billy. What's happening?
Well, I got a letter from Kaiser. This is kind of a two-part question. So they're dropping me at the end of the year, and the letter says the reason is living outside Kaiser service area.
What? Where do you live, Billy?
Lyman.
Outside their service area? Before we go on, let me just talk to Integra Insurance again. They are brokers, independent. They can buy Kaiser. They can get you hooked up with Medicaid. They can help you with Social Security supplements. They can help you with any plan on the exchange. They can help you process credits, everything. So John Jones, Integra Insurance, is there such a thing as living in a certain service area?
Very much so for Kaiser, because it's an HMO, and Kaiser's primarily
But if she's
along the front range.
Well, if she's willing to travel, what difference does it make if she's going to go to their doctors?
Doesn't matter. They got zip codes, and that's what they sell the insurance by in those particular
How'd
zip
she
codes.
buy it to begin with? How'd you buy it, Billy?
You have to find
I
another
lived in
carrier.
Longmont when I bought it.
Oh, so she lived in Longmont when she bought it.
Yeah, that's why.
But they don't just drop you when you move, do they? Or do you have to go to the end of the
Very much so. She'd have to find another plan. Kaiser, she would have lost her coverage moving outside the area.
Okay, so Billy, that's the answer, unless there's something else you want to tell us.
Well, yeah, there is, because when I talked to Kaiser, the man I talked to seemed shocked himself. And when he researched it, he said that that was not Kaiser's choice. It was a federal either rule or law.
Well, it's true. He just told you that. There are coverage areas, so we're done with that. I mean, we can't get you Kaiser is what we're saying.
Right, so it's only Kaiser.
No. Other insurance companies, right? Other ones also have service areas, John, or not?
That's correct. I think it's 19 counties now in the state that only have one carrier in it.
That's why you asked me about my zip code when I go to you and you help me.
That's correct. It's kind of like Centura Health only has certain zip codes that they are that we're allowed to sell insurance for them. Outside those areas.
Do you guys help? Do you guys sell, John? Do you guys sell the insured plans? I mean, excuse me, the shared plans.
Are you
like Medishare?
The faith-based programs.
Yeah, faith-based programs. Do you sell those?
Very much so.
Okay, so Billy, I don't know if you know about those, but do they have service areas, John?
Nope, they're good any place, anywhere.
Those are faith-based things that they will share medical bills, and the premiums are reasonable, and the coverage is pretty good, isn't it, John?
It's not insurance now, and we can't use the word premiums, your contribution.
But when you pay that contribution, you're covered for a lot of stuff, aren't you?
As long as it's an eligible medical need that goes in, but once again, it's not insurance. There's no guarantees.
Okay, what if I need heart surgery?
And if it's not a pre-existing condition and the members decide to share in that eligible medical need, yes.
What do you mean if they decide? Did they decide at the time I get it or before I join?
When you first file a claim, technically, since it's not insurance, the claim's my responsibility.
Right.
So it's not a claim, it's a bill. So when the bills go into the insurance, you're networked. and the networks are huge with these health, these health sharing plans or programs.
Yes.
The bills will go through them. They'll be medically reprocessed, so you'll get all the discounts. Then, depending on the program you're in, it's going to go in at that time. If it's an eligible medical need, then there's going to be sharing.
So they don't do pre-approvals.
Do what now, Tom?
They don't do
pre-approval?
They don't do pre-approvals. Or do they?
Yeah. I mean, if you had a major, they'd want you to do a pre-approval. Yes.
Okay, so then I'm pretty much assured that a certain amount will be covered afterwards.
I can't use the word. It's not a guarantee with these health sharing. All I can give you an example, with the largest one out there with $20 billion worth of claims, over $1 billion worth of claims have been paid in the last 20 years. So they've never missed if it's an eligible medical need.
Okay, I understand. So, Billy, that's an alternative I just wanted to bring up. If you have any other questions, specific questions we didn't cover, you can stay on. Otherwise, we have to move on to other calls. We also have Larson Tax Relief with us. Stay with us. I'm Tom Martino. Don't forget, referralist.com, also troubleshooter.com. Go to our social media at facebook.com. Look for Referralist and save all your problems for me.
Hi. You guys had a lot of viewers on the Facebook since you started
So just when I turned it off when you guys were talking, we got a viewer that said, what's up with that?
What you talking about?
Yeah. I don't want to listen to commercials.
Right. I would say with Facebook during and after, YouTube during and after, our iTunes podcast, our iHeartRadio, we have virtually more than we do listening live.
Really? Wow.
Our total audience is doubled
Wow.
with all of our other stuff, but not at that moment. We're one of the top downloaded shows.
So in the future, they roll it out.
People, they freaking love my show downloaded because they can speed through boring.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Because there is some.
My show is very. Thank God I have survived because I got to tell you why. Because I don't necessarily have a formula for success with social media. I'm not talking about podcasting. I'm talking about social media. If I just hadn't on social media, I haven't found a secret yet. I don't know how to make things so fucking popular that people flock to it. Yeah. I haven't found that. But thank goodness
it's a
that
moving
my
target,
radio
right?
is still, I'm old school, but my radio show is still strong.
Yeah.
Still gets advertising results. I still have a strong sponsor base. But I'm afraid that I'm not migrating enough into the new world because I try to do articles that are compelling and fuck, I do videos that are so like, how do people bounce checks when they still have money in their account? To me, that is a real story. I want to know, and it happens all the time. I get the complaints because of these credit freezes they put on them. Okay. I'll do a video on that, and a fucking video with a girl eating a banana gets more hits. It's like kittens and bubbles. No, I'm telling you, and it must be hard for you guys too. Social, it's hard. It's hard to make it. It really is.
That is the stuff that's crazy. You say went viral. That went viral. Like cat boxing or whatever.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's a moving target.
Dan, you do most of their the Facebook stuff for them, or
I run the cameras and stuff, and then do the research and that. But as far as what he's talking about is the video, I might film it, but not.
You've been with these guys for quite a while.
About a year, a little over a year.
Talk to your Walgreens pharmacist today.
No, it is. It's just amazing what the biggest hit they've gotten. I don't know if you remember or if you watched the show. Was a little girl, the cutest little girl, holding up a goose that her dad had shot by the martyr. It was a little controversial. Pushed it to a lot of PETA people.
Oh, of course he did.
And hunters. That's what he pushed it
Trying to stir the pot. Mark's hilarious. He should be doing the internet stuff because it's just clickbait. How can you make somebody mad?
And you should see the people that said bad things about this little girl. Cutest little picture. She was probably 5 years old, 4 years old.
Right.
Holding up a goose.
Which is
it's a goose.
It's normal for myself. I'm from South Dakota.
Okay.
Yeah, you go.
We don't do something.
Right.
What do you think they eat?
Exactly.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Right.
Everybody's got an opinion.
But that was, it's probably, that's got the most.
Well, because he went out there and, started
poking the bear?
Yeah, poking
Does
the
Mark
bear.
poke the bear?
Yeah, of course he does.
And he does. Mark can poke the bear.
That is his job. God bless him. Yeah, no, it's, yeah, I understand Tom wants to get into there, but you definitely got to appeal to the lowest common denominator sometimes to get the pot stirred. And
right. But something like
sleep at night,
right. Probably there's not probably a lot of people who actually listen.
Yeah, so that may not be
unless they get
fired up, right?
There you go.
Or the Howard Stern mentality, like people that like him listen to it 50% of the time, the people that don't like it listen to it 90% of the time.
Right. I believe it. Old Howard. He's one of the invented that.
Exactly.
Controversial shock job.
That is, that is social media, right?
Yeah.
Like this commercial, it's a competitor of ours, and it talks about how they have access to this Fresh Start. Well, Fresh Start is a program that the IRS came out with that everybody in this room has access to.
Oh, really?
Came out with it 8 years ago, actually.
I mean, it's just
what is it?
It just
the company or
no? What is the Fresh Start program?
It just allows you to set up a payment arrangement without having to provide a financial, and it prevents a lien from being filed.
If it's under a certain dollar amount, 25,000.
25,000. So if you can, if you have the ability to pay it over 60 months, you can make a phone call and set an agreement without having to do all the brain damage. So, but that's been around for nearly a decade.
Sound like
call us right now. We have a 1-800. We'll patch you right to the IRS. Yeah, I got the same number. It's on your notice. You could do it yourself. Good job, guys. Good job. Yeah, whatever. That's what we have to deal with.
Yeah, that's what everybody in business has to deal with. Is somebody that's trying to be a little bit
take a shortcut, make it seem like it's easier, cheaper, whatever.
And with a fixed rate, no matter where interest rates go, yours stays the same. Your monthly
the internet helps us a ton, though, Tom, because they can look us up and say, all right, well, is what this guy telling me true or not? And anybody who can use Google can be like, Fresh Start, I see this has been around since 2006. Maybe I'll call the guy that was shooting me straight about this. So that seems to help us, a lot as far as just credibility.
But when you owe a lot of money, you want to believe you want to believe there's a way to just get rid of it.
Right. That pennies on dollar commercial.
I heard it on the radio. Why can't you do that?
That's what I want to do. I want to pay pennies on the dollar.
That sounds good. You go ahead and call them and see what they say. See what they say about that. Oh yeah, you have a Maserati in the garage. Interesting.
Looks like I call it the set death tax. I don't think people realize what a state tax or death tax is. I mean,
the thing,
and the way it's going to come on out, I thought the way Trump is going to say it is if you have a gain, you're going to have to pay tax on that gain. You'll get a certain amount that you'll get forgiven, the state will.
What are you talking about now?
Well, the death tax. It's not really a death tax. People say they're double taxed.
Well, it
not
is.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about? 5.8 million is
right. But if you bought stock 30 years ago and now it's worth 20 times more and you died.
Yeah.
You should, if you would have sold it while you were living, you would have paid a gain on that.
We're not talking about stock. What about cash in the bank?
No, I understand.
That's double tax.
That is double tax, but there's so much. Most of it is not.
Well,
gain on land.
That's not necessarily.
Farmland.
I know what you're saying. Gain is always taxed.
No, it's not in a state tax.
What I'm saying is up to 5.5 is
right.
I understand what you're saying. It's not that unfair if you look at it that way.
Right.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Get the calls in. We have lines open, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. If you have a problem, question, or complaint, give us a call. Yes, this hour brought to you by David Salisbury. Let me tell you about David Salisbury. He is an attorney that does estate planning. He does probate. He does trusts and wills. He's David Salisbury. He's an attorney everyone needs. Everyone. Now, if you have a sudden need and somebody just died, give them a call, because sometimes people say, what do we do now? Really, people don't know. What do you do? David's always available for initial consultations free, immediate calls free, or planning your estate and wills and trusts. 720-493-3911, 720-493-3911. Dave Salisbury, attorney at law, on my referral list at referralist.com. We have Larson Tax Relief in the house today. We talk about tax audits, tax bills, tax filing, problems. Tax problems are terrible. They follow you to the grave. They don't go away. So if you need help, if you have any questions, curiosities, give us a call. 303-713-TALK. And then we'll talk to you about your problems. Or any consumer issue, of course. We also do that. We never have a single topic show. Like Marjorie. She wants to talk about Publishers Clearinghouse. What's going on with Publishers Clearinghouse?
Hi, Tom. I called yesterday and we talked for a couple minutes, and you said you wanted to know more about this, and you was going to pursue it for me.
Right.
And you would call me back.
Right, we're running out of time. So what I meant was yesterday we were running out of time, so let's talk about it.
Yes, I figured that. So anyway, this guy calls me at 9:43 yesterday, and he says he's from Price stuff. And
we wanted to set up a sting with you in Aurora with a video camera, because he says he's going to come to your door to pick up or to deliver the money.
$18,000 he wanted me to have. He said that was for the taxes on the 2-point-something million that I won.
I still want to do that, but I had a couple things. Oh, are you listening? Because your phone's making a lot of noise there, Marjorie.
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, you're rustling around. Okay.
No, I'm not.
Are you on a headset?
No, I'm down in a bi-level house. And
I'm sorry. Okay. It sounds better now. It's just a lot of noise. I'm going to put you on hold for a second while I explain this to you. We would like to come to the house and videotape a confrontation with this guy because he's a ripoff and warn others. We still want to do that if you can string him along. The reason I say string him along is we have some stuff going on. We can't get there today or tomorrow. We wanted to try to do it on Monday. If you could help us. That's all I'm saying. We can't do it today or tomorrow, but we would like to do it. Do you think you can? Do you think you can string him along, or just hold off because you have his phone number? You can always say.
I will try. Right after we hung up, I told him I didn't think I had $18,000 to produce for him. He says, "Oh yes, you do. I'm looking at your checking account right now, and I know that you also get a Social Security check."
Oh my God. That's dangerous.
He's telling me all this stuff, and I thought, how do you know my business?
Marjorie, we want to do this. We really do. So here's what you do. Tell him you're getting the money together, and you'll talk to him on Monday. That's the only thing we can do at this point. Okay? Make sure we have all of her information, please, Daphne. I really do want to help her, and I want to get this guy. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. We were talking about tax problems and how they happen. And one of the big problems is if you have a crooked bookkeeper or accountant. And we found a flaw in the system that I'd like to talk about, and that's how we discovered Don Eiley. So get your calls in, but I'm going to talk about this in the meantime because it's important. Let's say you're a small business and you have payroll and you have another person handle it. That other person takes money. This is how it works, because I have a company do my payroll. They tell me what to deposit in their account. Okay, X amount of dollars. They take that money and they write paychecks to people. They put down the gross amount. They send in money for Social Security. They send in money for state tax. They send in money for federal tax. They send in whatever they need to send in, and then they keep track of it on a paycheck. Okay? Rather than doing it myself. That's a payroll service. So, my employees get a check, and all of that's done. I don't have to do it. I source it out. Now, here's the problem. Let's say you have someone who's a little crooked. 303-713-TALK is our number, 303-713-8255. You can get right through, so don't ever complain. We were having a little problem with the phones, we'll admit. Okay, so I know it's been frustrating, but if it rings, we'll get it now. So, here's the deal. You have someone, they say, deposit $20,000 or $10,000 in the bank for payroll, $10,000. All right, you say, okay, so you deposit $10,000, and he writes you paychecks, right? the net amount, let's say, he writes out of the check an account is he writes $7,000, or it would be more like $6,000 because there's about a 40%. Yeah. So he writes $6,000 in net money checks to your employees and you. Now $4,000 is in his bank account, and he's supposed to write checks to all the taxing authorities. Not really write checks, but they electronically transfer. But he doesn't. He reports. Who's dinging? Am I dinging? I'm not dinging. Am I dinging? Oh no, I'm not dinging. My phone is on silent. Okay. So, oh, I am dinging. I am dinging. Let me silent my my computer here.
Got to be dinging.
I'm dinging. I don't want to ding. So here's what happens. This guy writes a report to the IRS and says there are no payroll taxes due. I don't know how he does that. Does he claim there are no employees, or does he claim? How do you do that? How do you report to the IRS that no payroll tax would be due? Would it be no employees or no pay, or what?
It'd be a combination of either you could say there's no employees, no payroll,
right,
or that they
so he sends that,
or what?
So he doesn't have to send any money to the IRS, right? Or he underreports it. So basically, then let's say he has 20 clients. This guy had 100, but let's say you have 20 clients. 20 times an average of $4,000. So now, so you got this money sitting in the bank, and it's sitting there, and that's 80 grand in one payroll cycle. Now, for Don Eiley, it was more like 200,000 or 300,000 he was pocketing per payroll. It went on for 8 years. 8 years. So think about that. Why does it happen? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the IRS has no reason to contact you and say you didn't send in your payroll tax, because according to them, you're all caught up. And you have no reason to ask the payroll guy, where's the money I paid in payroll taxes? You assume they were sent to the government. There's no way to know.
Hey, Tom,
and this is Jack Larson from Larson Tax Relief. Jack.
One of the things that I'd suggest every business owner to do is, if you're in Colorado, get an account with colorado.revenue or .gov, so you can look at, did your CPA or payroll provider actually send in the money? Now, if they didn't do it once, you might be out that money, but you'll know right away. And the IRS has a program, it's the Electronic Funds or Electronic Federal Tax Payment System.
Yeah, but how do you know that you're keeping up with payments or that it was reported? You have to ask him to send you the copy of the W-9, right?
Nope. Every payroll that I do, after every payroll I run, I actually get on and look at, did my payroll provider send the money to the IRS?
Oh, okay. You got to do that, but you can log on and see that.
Yep.
Okay, that's great news. How do you log on and do it?
You set up an account with the
but if
EFTPS.
he has the account, doesn't he have the account because he's paying the bill?
Well, it's actually your account. He just has access to it.
So you need a login.
Right. So if you don't have the login.
And what's the account called?
It's if you Google EFTPS.
EFTPS.
Electronic Federal Tax Payment System.
Electronic Federal Pay. Okay, this is good.
That's for the IRS.
So if you have, guys, if you have a payroll company, you go to the electronic the electronic what?
Electronic Federal Payment System.
Federal Payment System. Okay, good. And then you look at your balance and make sure it's been paid.
It'll tell you whether you had a tax return filed and how much was actually paid to them.
And if it's wrong, then you know, because some businesses were called a long time after, and they couldn't make up the money. Let me go to the phones. Mark, go ahead. You have an update on buying a car on Blinker. I told you to, you were looking on Craigslist. You were so pissed off on the dishonesty and the sleaziness. I said, go to Blinker, because not only do you find a car, they can get you finance, plus they give you step-by-step instructions. What happened?
Well, Tom, you couldn't have described the scenario much better than what you just did. First, good news and good news. Which one do you want first, Tom?
Good news.
Okay. Well, I called the Craigslist quote-unquote perpetrator and gave him hell. And then I told him about Blinker. And I'm so glad that you clarified it, because I was Googling Blinker, but we talked about that.
Right.
So I told this guy to go check it out, and he said he was going to. So potentially, Tom, they've got two new customers, if you will, because when I got done giving him hell, and then we ended up having a decent conversation after that, I got on the app and I did some research, and I've got some cars lined up that I'm going to go take care of.
And
I'm
not
going to utilize the financing.
Oh, okay.
I've got some stuff in my back pocket. Don't tell anybody.
All right, cool. Hey, you know what? One of the biggest advantages, though, is that they put an individual seller at par with a dealer, right?
Yeah, it's almost like car dating.
Yeah, exactly. Because you get to but they put you at par because you get to finance it. That's the important thing. You see, when you're selling your car on Craigslist or somewhere and somebody wants to buy it, unless they have cash, it's very difficult. Patrick, you have a question on potential tax liability. What is it?
I do. I was laid off my position from my employer back in January. I received unemployment, but with unemployment, I only brought in, or was eligible for, $14,000. It's like $14,200. My salary at the time was about $74,000.
I'll tell you what, you hold on, because this is a little more detailed, and we want to take you. They want to talk to you. Just hold on. I got to take care of this, and we'll be right back with your tax question. Any other problems, questions, complaints? We have lines open, 303-713-TALK. Rocky's Autos, 63rd and Federal. You looking for a used car? We just heard from the guy that used Blinker. That's a great app. But you know what? You can also go straight to Rocky's, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 8. Now, what's the benefit there? Of course, you have used cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans, a giant selection, all in one spot. You get in a golf cart, drive around with the Shagman or one of the friendly salespeople. You can also finance there. They have 40 lenders to choose from. Pick one that you want, and they give great trade-in values. Now, that's one disadvantage there of that app. This here, of course, at Rocky's, they give you an instant trade-in value because they want to sell most of those trades right there, so you get great values. So there you go. Rocky's, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 8, 303-426-4646.
A little bit of research, we would have known after one payroll that it didn't show up.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, they could have called. It was pretty good signal if you asked your CPA for the EFTPS login. They're like, I don't have it.
Right.
It's only for
Oh, really?
And I tell you,
Oh, really?
I've even gone so far to call them and just say, I want to do a compliance check on my company, make sure we're up to date. And the state of Colorado says, yeah, we didn't get your 2016 filing, end of the year filing.
I only have Alabama's Monday, Tom. I only have Alabama's Monday.
No, I meant his ad is on. Oh, so
Yeah.
today is not live. Okay, thank
Today
you.
is not Monday, just making
Gotcha,
sure.
gotcha.
I'm making sure that I'm right, that it's not.
Hey, can you run to Starbucks? Just kidding.
You-
Yes, please.
I'm like,
As long as you're going.
I already told Angie, I said, oh my God, I hope they don't order food tomorrow. I'm already nervous about that.
You're doing a great job, Aunt. Great job. Yeah. Good.
Thank you, sir.
I like that car dating, car hookup. That's a Blinker. Car hookup, auto hookup.
You know what? God, I wish I could go to that app. It sounds simple, but it's not.
There's
It's way
others
different
out there.
than a normal like cars.com. It's totally
It allows you to make the transaction.
But also, you take a picture of your car, right? It captures your license plate, and it captures, that's what, you line up the taillights, right? It comes back with everything about the car, including the owner. Then it says to you, verify who you are. You take a picture of your driver's license, it compares you. If it doesn't match, you don't get to put the ad on. If it matches, you put the ad on. They suggest the price. You don't have to take it. Then the damn thing is all automated. Then it's advertised. As soon as you get anyone interested, there's a map. You guys pick a place to look at the car. You go there. If they want to buy the car, they submit an app. Because they have your license, they give you approval, loan approval, within 5 minutes.
They give you Carfax.
And they ACH the money on the spot. I'm approved for the loan. They send the documents. I DocuSign them. They ACH the money. to the other person's account. In 30 minutes, you're financed, have the car, and that person gets advised that the money is in their account.
That is crazy.
It is the greatest goddamn thing I've ever seen.
And they don't have to use the finance.
And it's totally free to the consumers. Totally.
So they're just
So
making
the
money on the
seller.
financing.
That's all. And they finance 80%.
Micro purchases.
Oh, so they don't even charge the seller, just the financing charge.
Yeah, if they finance it. And I asked them, well, how's that going? He said, I 80% finance. He said, so the rest, it's fine. Who cares?
Yeah. They run a credit check when you sit
Yeah,
there?
it's all done through the driver's license. As soon as you take a picture of your driver's license, you're approved or not.
Okay.
I mean, so you don't waste your time. You know.
You already approved.
And you know how
before
much
you
you're
approved
approved
for.
for.
Wow.
If you have a
That's
loan on
powerful.
that, if you have a loan on that car, is that
They automatically do all of that.
Take care of that.
They, you don't have to, that's another thing. Owners never know how to do it.
They take care of it.
They don't know how to do it.
Only MDs deliver the injection. More experience than any other provider in the country. Why would you go
smart.
to a clinic?
There's a lot of programming into that, though.
There's 750,000.
Is that right? Yeah.
Marketing
Just having access to all this nationwide, DMV records and things.
At 303-963-9201. Explore your options at a true medical regenerative clinic. Centennial
and this is U.S.-wide, right?
They're great.
It sounds like, yeah.
They don't have to be
9201.
And I'm a referralist, but they we have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Are
they local here?
Yes. Rodney Busher. He was the first one that I got out with.
Oh, is that right?
Rodney's been around here. He's been in the jam for so many people. And then he's one of the old line idea man.
Try it today. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Michael Brown.
Afternoons 4 to 7. The New York terrorist was interviewed by the FBI in 2015, and now we learn another possible terrorist is missing. We can't even screen them when they're here. Join me at 4 o'clock for more Irreverent Talk Radio.
Irreverent.
Being beat up and battered around.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. All right, we got all kinds of things going on in this life, and you got to be part of it. You just hook up with us, and you find out what's happening, where it's happening, why it's happening. You find out the latest trends and rip-offs and all of that crap. It's great. Susan. I'm going to go back to Patrick. Susan has a quick comment, though, on this Publisher Clearinghouse woman in Aurora. What did you have to say about that?
Well, I think she needs to be cautious, but not panic, because it's obvious she's on Social Security. Doesn't mean he's looking at her bank account. I mean, it's not obvious, but the odds are she's on it. So he's probably playing the odds game. And just assuming she's on Social Security so she doesn't panic and worry all weekend.
You mean like he's spying on her, you mean?
Yeah, he might not be at all.
All right. Well, thank you for calling, Susan. Appreciate that. Okay, back to Patrick. We have lines open, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Looks a little cloudy. I got a charity flight today in my helicopter. I'm taking people on a charity flight. So if you have a nonprofit and you want to do a silent auction or an auction item for helicopter rides, I do that for qualified charities. And I hope it clears up a little. Well, so what's going on, Patrick?
Hey, Tom, here's my dilemma. Back in early January, I was laid off from my company. My position was eliminated. And I was, prior to that, my salary was about $74,000 a year. I was eligible for unemployment, which I took, and got, and eligible for and got about $14,500. So my question is, and listen to you guys today.
Over what period of time?
Well, it was only for 16 weeks.
Okay.
Was the unemployment eligibility window, if you will. So I took the full max that I was available to get from unemployment.
Over a 16-week period?
Correct.
I thought they paid for a year.
No.
Okay.
It's within a year. But if you got laid off, say in November,
yeah,
you're done end of December.
Okay, I didn't know that.
That's it. Yeah. So fortunately, in that aspect, I was good with being laid off in January. But my
wait a minute.
question
What do you mean what do you mean? 16 weeks is 4 months.
Correct. But you're only eligible for a year. You're only eligible for that 16-month window, or a 16-week window with Colorado unemployment.
But once they start paying, you get a paycheck. As long as you're looking for work, you get a paycheck every 2 weeks?
Correct.
For you, and it go every 2 weeks for how long? For 16
Max is 16 weeks.
Okay, then it changed, right? Because it used to be, I guess, I remember people being on unemployment for almost a year. Unless I'm mistaken, I remember that.
That's true from what I understand.
Okay, all right. So anyway, what's going on with you now, sir?
Well, my question is, being from a pay rate of $74,000 a year down to $14,500, it's obviously not a Willie Nelson problem, but do you see any potential tax liability there?
No, hold on. What do you mean tax liability? Your income went way down. If anything, you may
Correct. And I did have state and federal withdrawn out of those proceeds from unemployment.
Yeah, I don't see a problem. If anything, you might get a refund. I mean, I don't know. I mean, guys, when your income goes down, I mean, that's not a problem. Is it usually with the IRS?
No, I mean, he's going to bounce him into a lower tax bracket. He's already got withholding on those payments, which is the one thing I was going to ask. He's probably, with even just standard deductions, going to be eligible for a refund this year.
Yeah, you might get a refund, sir.
Yeah, and I've got a house and...
Yeah,
so
itemize your deductions.
What did you do for a living?
Investigations.
You made $74,000 a year as what, a private eye?
No, it was within the internal corporate investigations.
Like, can you give me an idea? I'm just so curious.
Basically, I would catch employees stealing. I would investigate fraud, internal fraud, corporate compliance.
Is this for one company or many?
It is, no, one company.
So what are you going to do now? That's a very
I'm on
odd
the job
set.
hunt. I've got some great leads.
What are you qualified to do?
Basically investigations.
Like, how do you invest? I mean, do you literally like pose as an employee? Do
no,
you
no,
just
no. I
is
am
it all
an employee
record
with a company? Let's say it's the
no. But what I mean
company.
is, but how do you do it through bookwork and data?
Yeah, exactly, absolutely.
And look
I would monitor the register system through a reporting system. I would detect fraudulent refunds. Cash variances, etc.
I had a friend that owned a bar, and he had a bartender on a certain shift on certain nights.
You got taken to the cleaners.
No, but hold on. So he fired the guy, and I said, why? He said, for theft. I said, how do you know? You're not even there. He says, because my PC, my purchase cost, always went up during that period of time he was on duty. So I know he was either pouring heavy or he was giving away. He said, I don't have to have an investigator. I said, what? He said, look, you pay so much, and then so much is what's called purchase costs. That's what he called a PC. So he said, for example, just give you an example, 45 cents would be his purchase cost on $1. So I said, okay. He said the rest would be profit. And I said, all right. He says, but when he's on duty, it goes up to 65 and 70 cents. I don't even I just look at the register ticket and look at the inventory. I don't have to be there at all. And I thought, well, it's so logical, so logical, right? And you could pinpoint it down to that shift.
Absolutely.
And he knew absolutely positively this guy was either pouring heavy, giving away drinks, or stealing money. Is that incredible? Now, that's the kind of thing you do.
Absolutely.
But on a bigger scale.
On a bigger scale, and I've also worked in bars and restaurants, and yeah, bartenders are one of the worst.
What's the biggest expose you've done? Dollar-wise.
Biggest case I worked was in San Francisco. I used to work for a duty-free company.
Yeah.
Long story short, when you fly overseas, they sell duty-free merchandise.
Yeah.
They put it into the food carts like they do the food and beverage. And basically it was flight attendants, and, well, they would steal that product. The product on there was duty-free merchandise. Very expensive Hermes scarves, jewelry, liquor, cigarettes. We'd inventory it outbound of given airport. It would go to London Heathrow, for example. It'd come back into San Francisco. We'd re-inventory it and find, $10,000, $20,000 worth of product missing. Well, we narrowed it down to flight attendants and specifically the catering company, the company that puts the food on board the airline, also put this merchandise on board the airline as well. So it was the catering company. and it was just the backside of $280,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you are worth your money.
Well, I like to think. I've been doing it for 30 years.
Leave your contact information with Daphne in case anyone listening is interested in you. Do you want to do mainly investigations? I imagine. What is your education?
I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
Okay, cool. Hang on. Hang on, okay? Seriously, you wouldn't believe some of the connections we make. So people might be listening online or something, and we'll give you their information. We won't give out your information, okay?
Right. I appreciate it.
All right, hold on. Daphne, get his excuse me, I'm sorry. The Coke is I'm drinking Coke. Okay, I shouldn't even say that because now I let people know. It's Coke Zero, it's diet, yes, but if my wife's listening, I am in very big trouble. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. We got more coming up. It's really important that you stay tuned. Larson tax relief. I mean, it's serious stuff, the taxes. This is the thing. By ignoring it, it'll never go away. That's the thing you have to know. It just doesn't. It gets worse. That's the thing that gets worse. Two things get worse. Tax problems and addiction. Seriously. Okay. And I'm telling you that it's easier to deal with a pusher than the IRS. So that's why Larson's around. You know, if you're looking for floors, I referred someone to Simply Floors, and they save 40%. Now, Buddy Mitchell, the owner, doesn't brag a lot. He says, I can save anywhere from 30 to 50% for people. In some rare cases, 60%. Why? Less profit. That's it. And lower overhead. He has a showroom at 52nd and Ward. But if you go on simplyfloorsinc.com, you can make an appointment. All floor coverings. He has anything you need. Anything. There's not anything the big guys have that he doesn't have. And then he can get you up to 40, 50% off because of how he does it. How about this new luxury tile called Action Traction? Waterproof. Totally waterproof. Great for pets and people who are worried about slipping. It's got that Action Traction, it's called. Give him a visit at simplyfloorsinc.com. You can book your own appointment into the evenings.
We all used to like Pandora before they started interrupting the music over and over. We saw it.
Corey Fenton was on the Tom show.
You got a job at Larson?
And he got a job.
He told me that story.
Yeah, that's great. Still
yeah,
with us.
This guy's working, yeah. Really good guy. Yeah, man, I love Tom. Called in and got me this job. He's doing great. Good guy. That's fun.
All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Not what you know.
How many people in your company?
About 80.
80? Holy cow.
Yep.
Just in Denver, or
Yep.
you got a couple other offices?
Just Denver.
Okay.
A lot of moving parts. This guy deals with all the BS.
A lot of moving parts.
A lot of things you deal with the moving.
You could just tell sometimes
parts.
when he's kind of rough.
It's a moving target.
His computer's not working now. You forgot what password? What was that? Seriously? Victoria forgot her password. I got the whole thing set up for her at Google for the CTL. And she's like, forgot my password. You're my administrator. I'm like, I didn't even know I was an administrator. Yeah, I'll send it to Ted. I have no idea. Like, you had this email for 2 days and you lost your password.
For tabs?
Yeah. Oh no, for Google, for like your Google login.
Oh, for
like
yeah.
Your
Gotcha.
Your unique password or whatever.
Yeah, that's Ted.
I'm just like, Victoria, come on. I told her, I was like, I feel like Jack right now, you know? I want to punch you, but I can't. I should set that email, get her blocked on there.
Requires Comcast Business Internet and additional monthly charge. Equipment taxes and fees extra compares Comcast 250 megabits per second and 40 megabits per second DSL networks. Today is the day you break the stranglehold.
You guys probably aren't
You and your family
all year long, right? You don't have a...
Yeah, we're...
Because it's not like a regular account.
Yeah, paychecks are cut every 2 weeks, and you can have taxes pretty much anytime. So it does slow down during Christmas just because the IRS kind of goes dormant a little bit. But if you're in the crosshairs now, they're not going to give you Christmas off. You know, like 3 years ago,
took an early day on New Year's Eve. Was with another associate of mine across the street at like rock bottom, having a beer, and I get a call like on my cell phone, like, "They took all my money." Like the state of Colorado had showed up at their bank on New Year's Eve and just cleared out all their accounts. And I had an power of attorney on the file. They were supposed to notify me before that. He's like, "Well, I called you, and you weren't there, so I just went to the bank and cleared them out." I'm like, it's New Year's Eve at like 3 o'clock. Are you serious? Yeah. It was just the craziest thing. I ended up getting it, refunded them, but it was like, 6 hours on New Year's Eve. I'm like fighting with this lady at the state who also had left, the office. It was just like on her way home, she like stopped and like got $60,000. Like
laughing about it.
Yeah, I was like, you are insane. You know that, right? You are insane.
You told her that?
Yeah, it was like I had to go to the Attorney General and all sorts of stuff. It was nuts. Like it was.
Hey guys, Meg is going to be on the. She's going to ask the question, but I went ahead and got her number for you because she's going to want to meet with you after Anna gave her number.
Cool. Cool. There's always something.
So you can push back pretty hard on them.
Yeah. If they do something just completely unethical, she was within her legal right to do that, but
it makes no sense.
I'm like, are you serious? Like at this point, it's causing undue hardship to that taxpayer.
Right.
And you called me, but you didn't give me an opportunity to respond.
Exactly.
Which you were supposed to allow, at least maybe an hour. So what he did was, basically dilatory collection action, which we can push back on.
Well, I thought that's the IRS in the very past, and they got the Kaiser General.
Right. Yeah.
Did that change? Was there a change?
Yeah. Well, this particular thing was the state who have no
they're not
kind of friendly or anything. They're just more crazy, I feel like, than anything. But the IRS does have some rules that they will push until you push back. And once I call and say, hey, look, I know about your regulations and your code, and I'd be happy to talk to the territory manager about these things you've done, or you can just unwrap all the things you've done. Let's talk and let's just resolve this, because I don't want to go and get you in trouble any more than I want to work this case any harder than I have. So a lot of times when they make those errors, I have them, because they know, look, hey, just resolve the case and move on, or else you're gonna, you have to respond to some.
So the boss will go on them and stuff.
Oh yeah, if they do something wrong, for sure. So I don't have to pound my foot and scream. I just went, here's the rules, you broke them.
Right.
How do you want to deal with
this? This is what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
Do this.
Exactly. Kill them with kindness.
There you go.
I wish I found some better sounds no one's ever heard.
Somebody likes 21 Pilots. I think Angie likes them. Brutus is off today. We have Brudette. Is there such a thing? A female Brutus? I don't know. We have Angie. And so, thank you, Angie. I like 21 Pilots, too. Let's talk about your problems. We got full lines. I'm going to go right to the phones. I'll let you know whenever one is open, okay? Meg, it's tax-related, and we have Larson Tax Relief. Go ahead, Meg.
Well, first of all, I got to say, I am the biggest 21 Pilots fan, and probably the oldest one, too.
Yeah, well, no, I am. Okay, go ahead.
But yes, I have tax questions, and it's multifaceted, but to get to the root of it, I haven't filed in some years. I don't even remember exactly what year is the last one I did file.
Yes.
Throughout the years, there were some years that I didn't hardly make any money, or the money I made was under the table, which I have no record of.
Okay, but neither do they, okay.
Right, exactly.
Right before you stopped filing, were you making a lot of money? Because this will go to what they will impute on you. Were you making a lot of money?
No, sir. I've honestly never made a lot of money.
Okay, so what were you making, do you remember, average before you stopped?
Shoot, I'll say maybe 15 to 20,000.
Okay, and so do you think it's been more than 10 years?
No, it hasn't been 10 years.
How do you think 5 years?
I think probably between 5 and 7 years, I'm thinking.
And have you ever gotten any notices at all?
No.
Okay, guys, take a stab. What do you think?
Well, this could be a fairly straightforward case of simply filing the returns and verifying that you don't owe any taxes. If you didn't make a whole lot of money during any of those years, odds are you probably were, going to owe very little bit as far as, if you didn't have any withholding in, or you're just not going to owe anything because you're going to be due a refund. So we would, first off just try to figure out what you need to use, TurboTax or, H&R Block or someone that you can afford just to get the taxes drafted. and then determine what you owe, if anything. If you don't owe anything, just file them and the issue is resolved. If you do owe, then we look at that amount. We'll probably take a look at what the penalties would be, and depending on how much that liability is, it may be something that we could address for you, through a payment arrangement, or it might be something you can take on independently if it's a more nominal balance.
Yeah, my mind I can't wrap myself around the numbers. I get really overwhelmed by it. How do I find out what I do owe?
So there are these things that the IRS has. I'm sorry, I don't mean to speak over you there. They're called wage and income transcripts, and you can call the IRS and get those independently, or someone like our firm could get them for you, and they will show you what the IRS has on file as recorded income for you. It may not be anything, which it sounds like if you haven't assessed returns against you in 5 years, it might be that they don't have record.
Will you get a failure to file penalty even if you don't owe tax?
No, if you don't, if you owe under, I think it's like $600 or something in a given year, there's no filing requirement. So it's possible that's why you haven't received any notices.
So because it's not probably worth hiring you for the money and all that, seriously, if she doesn't owe a lot or she doesn't have money, let's give her an action plan. The first step, number one.
First step is to file the returns. And so in order to file the returns properly, call the IRS.
And find the last year you filed.
Yeah. Find last year you filed, and then ask for wage and income transcripts for the years that you need to file the returns for.
Now, wait a minute. Okay. Why would they have wage transcripts for years she didn't file? What would they have?
The IRS, if you had a W-2, then obviously the employer would have to send the information to the Social Security Administration, 1099.
So it is possible they do have some wage and hour transcripts.
They should, yeah.
Now, you ask for wage and hour transcripts.
Wage and income transcripts.
Wage and income transcripts. Then what?
And then take that information and either take it to a tax preparer or try to do an online service to go ahead and get those returns completed. You can also just do a 1040.
Then you file, and then what?
Once it's filed, then you will have either a refund due to you or a balance. Determining what that balance is, and then you can address that with the IRS.
And then if you owe and you don't have the money, you still send it and send whatever you can.
Exactly.
And then you'll get a note back saying what to pay every month.
At that point, you'll have a balance of record, and depending on how large the balance is, you can simply make a phone call and set yourself up on a 60-month, 72-month agreement to pay it off. If it's larger, then you would need to connect with someone like Larson Financial to address that negotiation for you.
Okay. The years that I worked under the table, is there anything I need to worry about? That's part of why I didn't file.
Well, actually, if they don't know it, and you can't, you should estimate it. If you want to be totally 100% honest, you estimate it. And and some people wouldn't even mention it. So it's really up to what you want to do. I'm not going to be the moral police here, but I would probably estimate it.
Okay. All right. Very well. That works.
Okay. I hope things work out. Would you let us know? 303-713-TALK. Robin, what's going on? Robin?
Oh, yes, Tony.
Oh, what's happening? This is Tom. What's happening, Robin?
I'm sorry. Got you confused.
Okay.
You know how they call and they tell you the IRS...
Yeah, the IRS never calls you to collect money. They never call. So if you got a call, it's a scam. What did they say?
Well, they said that I owed money, so they kept calling me and calling me and calling me. So one day it says push whatever number, and I pushed it, and I talked to some guy I couldn't understand. And I told him, I says, I'd like to pay you, going along with the scam. And I says, but let me tell you something. I says, I just found out, and I'm a single woman. And I said, I just found out my husband was having an affair, maxed out his credit card, took $80,000 out of our savings account. I said, so what I want you to do is I want.
By the way, that's not all true, is it, Robin?
None of it's true.
Okay, good.
And I says, and I'm waiting for him to come home. I says, and I'm going to kill him. I says, so it's a good idea if you call the cops and then they come and arrest me, and the IRS is going to be the least of my problems. It's been over a month since I heard from those people.
Hey, that's a great way.
Well played.
Yes, well played. Okay, Jose was at the end of the show yesterday, and I said we would take Jose, and we will. So right after this, we're going to do that. There's a lot going on the show. I urge you to call in. I'll let you know whenever lines open, like right now, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Pro Auto Care is the place to take your car if you want to be handled like it's your dad or your mom. I call them car nannies. Why? Okay, if you go to Pro Auto Care, the very first thing is, if you go there regularly, in between or anytime, you will get roadside assistance for 36,000 miles. That means that for most people, you will always be covered if you go to Pro Auto Care, always, with free roadside assistance. I've actually used it. They're wonderful, and it's for around the country. That's one thing. The second thing is they enroll you in their record keeping, and they let you know based on your VIN what's needed for your car and when it's needed. And you get gentle reminders by email. It's like your dad used to do. Get your oil changed, whatever. You get to have a car nanny. And, of course, you have honesty, integrity, and skill. 303 Pro Auto, 2 locations near Evans and I-25, near Bowles and Santa Fe. 303 Pro Auto. Read about them at 303proauto.com.
There's a couple of minor trouble spots to watch out for as you drive across town. Southbound I-25 approaching 6th Avenue. Looks like there's some debris, rocks in the highway there in the right 3 lanes, so just approach with caution. Also a crash off to the right shoulder, not blocking traffic. Southbound I-25 at Alameda as well. Westbound I-270 at Vasquez, crash there in the cleanup stages. Off highway crash being cleared Mississippi east of I-225, right to the county line east of Broadway as well. For more real-time traffic updates on your route, download the new Total Traffic app.
Tom, Brett is not answering my text, so I will let you know closer to 12:15.
That's fine.
Okay, if he is or not. If you're over this one over here is not working, you can't hear me when I talk out loud. That's why I keep coming in.
Parmesan and buffalo chicken. Now on CC's Buffet for just $5 and change. Prices may vary at participating locations for a limited time.
When you think about home loans, think ideal home loans and the help they can give you. We want to work with affordability.
You guys got special numbers to call in, or you want to wait 90 minutes for the?
So just recently, I have our only other option previously is just have 2 phones in my office, and one sits on hold all the time.
Really?
But Jack went to a conference in Vegas, and there's this company that's called InQ, and you just have a bank of phones that are constantly on hold, and you call into them, and like it reduces my hold time to about 3 minutes. It used to be about an hour just to get through to the practitioner line.
So you got a whole bunch of people doing that, man.
Yeah, and it just like it's great. It's just probably some computers like when they pick up, they hit the hang up if they don't have a call they answer,
Right.
And so it's been amazing because I used to have to just be on hold, and when they picked up, I would stop whatever I was doing, I'd handle it. Now I can actually schedule my like IRS calls during a period of time of the day when I'm not like busy. So it's it's like a number of cents per minute, and so it's costing us some money. But as far as efficiency, and my life, just life improvement, because you'll sit on hold for an hour and then they'll hang up on you or whatever.
So a standard person, that's one reason they don't.
That is honestly one of the reasons when people they'll initially hire us to deal with some urgent issue. Nobody calls me because it's usually a fire, But then after it's like, hey, look, do you want us to just keep our power of attorney on file for you if something if we get a notice or whatever? And they're like, usually no, see if that's cool. I don't know, I can continue to pay you. And then they try to call the IRS themselves, and they call me back like, just take the money, just take the money. I can't handle this. Just the mind-numbing aspect of it. And then you get somebody on the phone who will give you misinformation, half the time, more than half the time, unless you ask the right questions. And that's not right. You look on this screen and look at this code. Oh yeah, sorry, you're not in bankruptcy. Like, I know they're not in bankruptcy, but they're just looking at these asinine,
And there's no accountability on them.
No, hang up, whatever. Move on to the next one, right? There's no record of the call or whatever. So it's
dealing with them. I'm just going downtown and stuff.
Showing up at an office down there, you might as well.
It's worse. The post office is bad. Standing in line there, multiply it times 10.
No wonder the revenue officers hate it. It's a horrible place.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hiring is important, but
most of them work from home now. We like voice over IP, and you call them up, and they're at home, and you hear the dog barking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is fine. I mean, they can do, as long as they can do their job from where they are. I don't care. You know?
No, I feel about that. Like say the people in the office and stuff. You're right. Imagine it's not pleasant for them, but man, they'll have all these people waiting, and they'll just get up and
No, it's like worse than the DMV. You know, I'm just getting through the day. You know, you're gonna yell at me regardless. See, they don't care. I mean, talking about just having blinders on. Yeah, just a mess. Yeah, a lot of people do just pay us because they're just like, you know what, I can't take the brain damage anymore, Steve. Right. You know, it's worth paying you just to call them and find out what this stupid notice is or whatever, you know. So, and half the time the notice, I can just look at it and be like, don't worry about it. You know, I don't need to make a call. I know what that is. It's, you know, nothing you need to worry about.
Yeah. Time for some Friday fun, and this time it'll be with one of the funniest guys around, comic Nate Bargatze. Nate's coming back to K-Hal for the second time, so join me and Nate Friday morning at 8:06 here on 630 K-Hal.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. I will take care of you if you call. We have a staff here. We've been doing it for 40 years, recovering hundreds of millions of dollars for people. We have larceny tax relief in the house. Okay, Jose, I'll take you. Please hang on with your tax problems. We will get to you, I promise you. I'm going to get right through the calls. Jose, what is the problem you're having?
Well, on October 12th, a truck ran through my yard, knocked the fence down, and, well, my daughter was in the backyard playing.
Right, it was terrible.
So I did the right thing. I called the police, and dispatch tells me what race I am.
They tell you what? They tell you what?
What race I was.
What? Wait. You call dispatch, and they say, Jose, you are what?
Yeah, they're all like, are you Hispanic? Are you Caucasian? And I was all like, so I blew it off.
Wait. They were filling out a report?
No, I called to
I know. I understand, but why did they ask? They asked you what race you are?
Yeah.
That was one of the first questions they asked.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Did they say, may I have your full name?
No.
They said, well, what are you?
She was like, what race are you? And I was like, so I didn't pay attention. I just blew it off.
Right. And then what?
So they said, I told them what happened, and they said that they were going to send somebody. They sent somebody. Well, the accident happened before 5 o'clock, and he didn't show up till 8-something.
Wait a minute. I don't get it. So anyway, did a cop finally come?
Yeah, like almost 4 hours later.
Well, there was nothing they really could do before that, right? I mean, let's just be fair about that part. The guy already, well, I assume the guy ran through and then left, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he left the scene. Did you get any license numbers or anything?
I only caught the first 3, but the crazy thing was there was 2 parole officers in the neighborhood doing checks.
You mean patrol? Patrol officers.
Yeah.
Were you, how close? How close was the, what do you mean parole?
Yeah, there was 2 parole officers. They chased them down. They tried to chase them down.
You mean he was on the run?
No, there were just 2 parole officers in the neighborhood looking for somebody.
Oh, were they looking for him? Were they looking? Oh, isn't that weird? There just happened to be parole officers looking for someone. How do you know they weren't looking for him?
Because they came up to me and talked to me.
Okay, now, this is important. How close was that car to your daughter?
I say 10 feet.
Are you kidding me? So they ran into the yard where your daughter was playing. They could have killed her.
Yeah, the only thing that stopped the truck was the tree.
Holy crap. What are they doing right now? Are they doing an investigation?
Every time I called the following day I called to check up on the report. The cop didn't even file a report.
What? Wait a minute. Daphne, I know that you're busier than a one-armed paper hanger right now, but maybe we can write this down literally, and let's call a PIO. We need to get an explanation. We need the time and date and an explanation, because I know they have a record of the call and the address. Yeah. If we give the address, the full name, the time, the date, let's get somebody to address this call. Something is wrong.
You got it. I took notes.
Something is wrong. But ask him the details of the address. I don't want to give out his exact address. Do you think it was a local car? I mean, have you seen that truck or car around?
No, it's...
What's the vehicle?
No.
What was the vehicle?
It's a dark blue Silverado. I have the video.
Wait. What? Get us the video. Get us the video. Absolutely. Okay. We're going to go to work on this.
Because the cops didn't want to do it. So I took it upon myself to go into the businesses and get the video.
What do you mean into the businesses?
I went into, because there's an auto body shop, there's a place where they sell marijuana, there's a 7-Eleven.
Well, what does that have to do with this vehicle?
Well, because I told the cops if they could come and talk to the businesses, and because all the businesses have cameras. And maybe they recorded the video of the accident.
So you got a video of the actual incident.
Yes.
Oh man, you are cool. Seriously, Jose. Hold on. Daphne, get as much information and video, whatever this guy's got. We'll go to work on this for sure. Oh man, yes. Now, Greg has a tax question. Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, I understand all the limits as far as claiming damage on your income tax as a deduction. What I'm not sure of is I live in a townhome. We had hail damage back in May in Golden, and due to the deductible on the insurance for the HOA, we had to pay a special assessment. Can I add that to my deductions?
Okay, you have to pay. You can deduct taxes paid. You can deduct any business expenses if it is counted against income. Sometimes you can take losses in certain circumstances, but you can't just take just fees and stuff. You just don't. I mean, even it's not a tax. So what was it for?
Well, it was the deductible for the insurance for the repair of the roof.
If it's a deductible,
townhome.
I'm going to ask you a question. If you had a house with regular insurance and you paid your deductible, you would not deduct it from your taxes.
Yes, you would as a
Wait a minute. Hold on. With a casualty loss, okay, I know what you're talking about now, but that casualty loss has to be a certain percentage, right, of your gross income. So the answer would be the same then if it is, I misunderstood you, if it meets the means test. And it may or may not. I don't know what the percentage is. We'll look it up if you want to listen as far as casualty losses and what you can deduct.
I think I see what you're saying now. You can deduct casualty.
There's a portion of a casualty
well,
loss.
can you look up what there's some qualifying.
It's the Ovation Hair Holiday Gift Set.
I mean, if you can look it up, I'd appreciate it.
In one gorgeous box, including the powerful cell therapy treatment, and the repair hair mask, essential hair oil for maximum moisture and shine, and more. All of this is specially priced to save you almost 60%. That's a huge steal.
0.1% of your adjusted gross income.
Why not buy several?
Must be more than
family, friends,
minus
and
$100.
Keep one for yourself, so that when
0.1%? Your loss, like through
vibrant hair.
stealing or theft or...
Yeah, so you can deduct. No, sorry, you can only deduct losses not reimbursed or reimbursable by insurance or other means. You'll need to subtract $100 from each casualty loss of personal property. The total of your casualty and theft losses of personal property must be more than 0.1 of your adjusted gross income.
It's got to be more than.
More than. Whatever is more than your adjusted AGI. Whatever more than 1% of your AGI. So if you're paying $2,000, it may not be expensive how much you make it within Golden.
For people in the middle, people who are also striving to get there. House Speaker Paul Ryan, the top House Democrat, Nancy Pelosi,
minus
$100 tax reform.
Deficit exploding, multi-trillion-dollar giveaway to the wealthiest and corporations, delivered on the backs of our children, our seniors, and hardworking Americans.
Some Republicans oppose aspects of this plan as well, like ending deductions for state and local taxes. President Trump is nominating Jerome Powell as Federal Reserve Chair.
The 64-year-old Powell is
you guys think if they got business, if they deduct corporate tax, drop it, you think it'll do much
for our business?
Or
just in general?
Business in general.
Will you tell Tom Brent is on, he will be on at 12:00.
You report, you decide.
I can't see how it can't.
It's not going to affect, I don't think, small business. It'll affect big business bringing money back over.
Yeah, I like it. I think.
I just see how it can't help.
I think I mean, and then increasing the standard deduction will just eliminate a lot of paperwork. I'm sure H&R Block is not happy about it. I've got a huge lobby against that. Yeah, but I mean, most of my clients are like, just take the standard deduction, don't putz around with these returns and file them. You're going to be fine. You go into all these Schedule C deductions that would be, all the stuff they get audited on, all this mileage stuff. You don't even touch it. You don't even touch it. So all the a lot of the paperwork and the mess that goes along with filing that would get on the personal returns. So I think the corporate returns are most corporations don't take corporate taxes anyway. It's like, so you're setting a standard rate on what probably is less for most corporations anyway, sort of your actual.
That's a big deal, though. 35% maximum corporate rate versus 20% more, 15% of your net.
Yeah. I mean, I would say for small business that would be great, because large business they figure out tax strategies so they're not paying, or they're reducing their income tax to the minimum. But for a small business in LLC where it's like, all right, I have some income, but I don't have moving parts here where I can hide money and things like that, then that's going to be great. You just go ahead and don't have to worry about it. File my return, good to go.
Yeah, you're right. Small business probably would be
that'd be definitely a benefit. I mean, I got small business. I would want to do that. And then you can actually, people are concerned that individuals will incorporate themselves. Because then it's like, well, I'm in the 30% rate. I'm just a corporation. So I'm just going to lock mine in at 25, right? I'm the president and the officer, and I have meetings with myself every 3 weeks.
But you'd have to take payroll.
You'd have to. Well, if you're an S corp, if you're a C corp, you wouldn't have.
Wait, you wouldn't have to what?
Take a reasonable wage. If you're a C corp, you only have to do that if it's an S corp.
No, I thought when I had a C corp, I transferred to an S, but I thought they told me you had to as a C.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to take it's only a requirement for an S corp.
Feeling down, and I do appreciate you being round. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you
Hi, I'm Tom Martino. Your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. We have a busy show today, solving problems, answering questions, taking complaints, making referrals. We do it every day. We've been doing it for years, but each day is exciting in itself. I love the privilege to come here and help you every day. If you need help, if you need expertise, call us. If I don't know it, I have experts standing by. For example, today we have Larson Tax Relief. Larson and I go way back. They are a client on the referral list. They do a great job helping consumers, and I love aligning myself with them because they solve tax problems. They don't represent liars and cheats. They represent people who are being screwed over by the government or have legit excuses and need help paying debt, or they've been audited, or they have back tax debt, or they have non-filing status and they want to make it right. It's for that kind of stuff. And so they're here as our expert today. Give them a call. And you can get help. 303-713-TALK. When they're not here, they're at their offices, and I will give that number out, so be ready, okay? Larson Tax Relief. So, what are you going to call about? Well, we got Harold talking about waste management. We have Greg talking about tax for deductions, for damages. Jay is talking about a 15-year-old. Do they need to file taxes? All good questions. So I'm going to go back to Greg we left off with. If you have a casualty loss, it's called, you lose something, like a house or something is damaged, you do get to deduct it under certain circumstances. Greg had a question. Well, if I had a roof loss and I had to pay for it, or a deductible, I can deduct it. So can I deduct that part of my HOA fee, which happens to be toward the deductible for casualty damages? I would say yes, but there are other qualifications before you can take that deduction, right, Steve?
Yeah, I just looked it up very quickly. It's and I knew there was a deduction there, but it's the limitations, like you said. It's each event minus $100 over 0.1% of your AGI.
Okay, so it's wait. So you have to first deduct $500.
Well, each event $100.
Oh, I'm sorry, $100.
Yeah, right.
Then you take that amount,
right.
And that amount can only be deducted when you add all your losses. Only the amount above 1% of your
AGI, adjusted gross income.
Okay, so 1%. So what's your adjusted gross income, Greg? Hold on there. There you are, Greg. What's your adjusted gross income?
Well, I haven't calculated it out yet.
But roughly.
Roughly 80.
Okay, so 80 grand. Well, okay, so take 80 and then do the math. Times 1% is $800, right?
Okay, so only what's above 8.
No, you got a minus 100. So it's first of all,
100.
if you take 80 grand, I want to make sure I always get my zeros mixed up. Times 1%, yeah, it's 800 minus 100 gives you 700, and then anything above 700.
Yeah, everything above 700 for that particular event, then you could deduct.
Oh wait, or do you take 100 off the loss? Do you take 100 off your income or off the loss?
Off the loss.
Oh,
Sorry.
off the loss.
Sorry.
So it's just the opposite. So anything above $800, but you have to first take $100 off the loss. So you had a $1,000 deductible, let's say. Well, how much was the fee from the condo?
It was 1,000.
So minus 100, that's 900. You get to deduct 100 because you have to minus your percentage of gross, which is 800, from the 900. Does that make sense to you? You have a $1,000 loss minus 100 equals 900. Subtract your 1% of adjusted gross, and you come up with 100.
It's like taking an enrolled agent exam in here.
Yeah. And I hope I didn't lose my audience with all those numbers.
Well, I had one quick question. When you say an event, the major hailstorm in Golden on May 8th, that same event would apply to the multiple, my other house also? The amount that I lost on that?
You take all of your losses, all of them.
From that same event counts as...
It doesn't matter what event. You take all of your losses for the year, and you subtract 100 per loss, is it, or from the total?
I think what he's asking is he had losses on multiple properties for the same single event. So you would go ahead, and that'd be the one event, so you wouldn't have to subtract $200 because you had two separate houses. You just subtract the 100 from the total loss
for
from
the
each
event.
house.
From the event.
Exactly.
But then if you had another event, it's subtract.
Then
100.
you'd have to subtract the 100 again.
Yeah. So people usually have casualty losses usually from one event a year, usually, but it could be two. I mean, if you had a hurricane, you own something in Florida, and then here you have a hailstorm, that you could argue are two events.
Okay. One other part of that.
Except if you look at the universe, it's one. Okay, go ahead.
My car, I had hail damage on it, same hailstorm, but I didn't have coverage, so I'm not going to repair it, but I can't count it as a loss, correct?
Wait a minute. Can you calculate a loss if you don't actually pay it out? You do have a loss, no?
No, not until it's
depreciation.
Realized.
Depreciation is a loss,
but you can't. And if it's an event and it's not a realized loss, so he's still driving the car. Until he sells the car at a loss because of the hail damage, then that would be a realized loss.
Okay.
So I could deduct it if I sell the car as a...
If you took a loss as a result, but man, that's going to be they're going to argue. How do you know it was from that and not from normal depreciation?
That's an audit risk.
That's going to be a hard one on that.
Okay.
You sound like a very aggressive tax filer, sir. I don't blame you looking for everything. In fact, I believe there was a part of the tax code. Somebody quoted to me once when I went to one of these seminars. I was investigating a tax protester. But one of the things he did bring up, the tax code itself says that it's our obligation to follow the code and pay the least amount of tax. Somewhere in that code it said something about that it's our responsibility to do that, not theirs, and that there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's absolutely right, and I think I read somewhere, the IRS has enough information to file a tax return for everybody in the nation, and they could file it based on the information that they have, but the onus is on the taxpayer to find all these deductions and make sure that you prove what you're doing on a given basis.
And they call it voluntary. They call it voluntary. They do. Did you know that the IRS calls taxes voluntary? So what they mean is that they don't take the money forever. You voluntarily give information or something. It has to be accurate, but it's weird. They call our tax system voluntary. Oops. I'm telling you, Mark would yell at me because I spill stuff all the time. I'm so crazy. I just spilled again. What does that make? 6,000 times? 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. How many people fight the IRS each year? That's interesting. Dan wants to know that. You know, Dan?
Hi, how are you doing, Tom?
Do you know the answer?
I kind of do, because I've been fighting them for probably 5-6 years. I went to my attorney years ago, and I wanted to fight the IRS because they said I didn't pay my fair share every year. My wife makes, $125,000. I make $50,000, so I figure I pay probably $50,000 out of my paychecks. So when they told me I didn't pay my fair share of $30,000 over 3 years, and they wanted $70,000 in tax penalties and interest, I decided to fight them because I didn't think it was fair.
No, wait a minute. But legally, you owed that amount, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, no, I'm not asking if you think, but I'm talking about if you apply the code and the deductions, you really did owe the money. No? Yes?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I gave money to construction. What's that construction place where you get tools to and stuff, and they give you a tax card or a tax receipt? Habitat to Humanity.
Yeah.
I gave a bunch of money to them. Wasn't applicable because I didn't have a receipt on the stuff I donated them.
You don't need, receipts are not required.
Yeah, well, all I want to say is my attorney
just proof.
My attorney was the best in the world at fighting the IRS.
What happened?
And when I went in, it kind of surprised me that the judge comes in from Pennsylvania and Denver, Colorado in June, and 50 people in the state of Colorado fight in June. And then she comes back in town in January, and about 50 people fight the IRS. Out of the 50, 3 basically go to court. But when those 50 are sitting across the table from the IRS agents, when you're in the courtroom, they come and they just scare the heck out of you. That
what do they say?
Lose everything if you don't pay them.
Oh.
But, I just want to say that I hear all these commercials and I hear all these people. I think America needs to know exactly. There's 100 people that fight the IRS in the state of Colorado. And it's kind of scary, but I have...
Wait, so what are you telling me? Are you telling me that's low or high? Are you saying that you thought you thought there were way more people fighting? I didn't think there were a lot of people.
Thousands.
No, I wouldn't think that. I don't think a lot of people fight the IRS. That's why we have people...
I think 4 or 5 people take them all the way to court. The rest settle. I settled. But
now, how did you settle? What was the outcome? What were they doing? Were they trying to get more tax from you? Is that the bottom line?
No, what I think happened was my lawyer was the best in the world.
What brought it up to begin with?
They hated my lawyer, and my lawyer died.
Can you answer me a question, Dan? What brought up the issue to begin with? Did you get a notice or something?
Yeah, we got a notice.
Saying what?
That we hadn't been paying our fair share.
They don't use the words fair share. They don't use those words.
They used it a lot in my meeting.
Wait a minute. In your tax...
Rock, and he was an old guy. I mean, really old.
Well, he died.
There was a guy that came down from Washington University 2 summers ago that said he wanted to intern for him, and he said, "How did you get my name?"
You know what? He came up right away.
In Washington.
Declan O'Donnell. I'm looking at the Wikipedia. Okay. He's from New Zealand. Oh, that's not the guy. He's a rugby player. That's not the guy.
He had astronauts as clients. That's how good he was.
Declan O'Donnell in Castle Rock. There he is. Declan O'Donnell, kindly looking man. He was a visionary.
About the IRS.
What's that? The best attorney I ever met.
He was the best attorney against the IRS that this country has ever seen. You ought to read up on him because he was the best.
Who's the best now?
I don't fight the IRS anymore.
Okay, I only hear about 2 attorneys in Denver. I mean, I do, and I don't know why I only hear about 2. Who do you guys hear about? I mean, I don't know. You guys do fighting for the IRS, so you'd like to say you, right? I mean, are those guys competing with you? Not really. Those are trials and all that. That's a different animal, right? I mean, you don't first go to an attorney and try to get, I mean...
We try to avoid tax court, obviously.
But actually, in some cases,
you need to do it.
But in some cases, let's put it this way. Let's say someone owes $6,000. It might be better for them to hire an attorney for an hour or get an initial consultation free than hire you guys. Do you guys do initial consultations?
Well, we do, but what we don't do is go to tax court for our clients.
Okay, so there are cases where you then refer to an attorney, right?
Absolutely.
But you'd rather not talk about who you refer, right? I mean, or is it on a case-by-case basis? I'm sorry for the echo. I was turning away. Yes? What do you think?
Yeah, it'd be on a case-by-case basis, just depending upon what they're fighting and what they think they need.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the attorney in Denver, the two attorneys. One is Joe Thibodeau, right? He's a good attorney. And Ted Gelt. Have you heard of Ted Gelt? He is a very good, I think he's a very good attorney. Okay, Angie's telling me I'm over time. Brent Ivinson, Ideal Home Loans. Let's talk about buying houses now, because Ideal Home Loans truly has some benefits for you throughout the mortgage industry, not just a loan. They have interest rate guarantees. They have a down payment guarantee program. They have credit optimization. They also have, help when you buy a home. What's going on, Brent?
Well, Tom, you have to look at what's going on from a seasonality standpoint right now if you're a home buyer. One, you've got a couple of things working in your favor. Rates are still at the lowest levels we've seen this year, so your buying power is increased. But the bigger thing is this. Right now, anybody who has a home listed for sale during the holidays, they are a very, very motivated seller. We have seen this year in and year out since we've been serving Colorado since 2001, where our clients during this period of time get amazing deals when they're out buying, and they are able to bargain and bargain significantly with sellers. And again, we can get you pre-approved, get everything done up front.
Pre-approved. That's the secret. That's like a cash deal, Brent.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. So you don't have to get caught up in a bidding war. And you would be amazed how serious sellers take this when they realize you're ready to go, and all we need is an appraisal, an inspection, and title work, and we're done. We're ready to go.
It's so different. It is so different than pre-qualified. You're pre-approved. The loan is done. They just need an appraisal and title work. And then, of course, don't forget, when you have Ideal Home Loans, you get that interest rate guarantee as well, so you can refinance free of charge over the next 2 years if rates go down. 303-867-7000. Also, if you finance this time of year, you don't have a payment till January, and in some cases February. 303-867-7000.
This report is brought to you by Farmers.
Googled Declan. He's been reprimanded by the state of Colorado and found guilty of charging and collecting excessive fees, failed to promptly return unearned fees, engaged in conflict of interests, and failed to warn
That's the dirty in the world.
Is he dead?
Yeah,
he can't slander the dead.
Yeah. That's the dirty in the world. Wow. He did win a lawsuit in the States against the IRS.
300 million?
36 million. Basically, I think he proved that a tax shelter wasn't a tax shelter, so a bunch of rich people got their money back.
He proved it was a tax shelter.
It wasn't.
Well,
he wanted to,
wait a minute.
Well, there's an illegal tax shelter.
Right, he proved it was a legal,
viable tax shelter.
Yeah.
It
wasn't a scam.
Right. Yeah. Basically, he told them to give them their 64% of their refunds back or something.
Boy, that would really make me happy. Boy, if somebody got that for me.
Yeah.
Line 1, let me know if you want me to get Jeremy or Brian up on the conference.
Money and more money, and have been doing just that.
Well, no matter what, it could help.
Okay, well then I will.
I think we need to ask Brent, is there something wrong with his phone when he calls in or something?
It's first of all, it's the Lucy. You notice that little with the Lucy light? What do you think it is?
I'm not sure. I've never heard that before.
I've heard it yesterday and today only. On Brent. On Brent only, on Lucy Light.
Grab when you want them.
I better grab another sixer while I'm here.
Things you grab when you gotta win $1,000.
Honey, can you turn up K-How and grab my phone?
Your shot at $1,000
60 minutes.
16 times a day. Keep listening for the keyword to text. Weekdays from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's the Cash Grab on 630 K-How, Denver's talk station. Sean Hannity.
Face the truth.
Today at 1.
You Republicans in Washington that broke your promises.
Steve, you don't want to go in there and fight the IRS?
I'm sorry?
The tax court, you don't want?
Well, we don't, because we're not a law firm.
Oh, right. Okay.
So when you ever say,
I know. I don't ever say that. I say he's a tax advisor.
Yeah.
But I like saying
But he
he's
is
an attorney at law.
he is.
Oh.
Hi, I'm your troubleshooter consumer advocate, 303-713-TALK. I don't say this often enough, but I want to tell you that you can use me. You can say, Tom Martino will look into this. He's just waiting for the go-ahead. And you may have never talked to me, but I'm giving you permission to say that because truly I will look into it if you tell me. So you can say, hey, Martino told me personally he will look into it if I give him the details. You see? When you say that, truly it does help. I'm serious. I mean, I'm not, it's not like I'm special. I have the radio show that makes it special because this show has power for you, and I turn the mic over to you. Harold, what do you mean Waste Management is not honoring their advertisement?
Yeah, Tom, this is Harold Myers.
Hi, Harold.
How you doing?
How are you getting screwed here?
Well, we're relocating to California, so we can't have any chemicals on the mover. So I went on a website for Southeast Metro Stormwater Authority household hazardous waste. They have a program that says curb to curb for people that live in unincorporated Arapahoe County.
What is the program? They don't want you dumping stuff. So what do they do for you?
Okay, they'll do a curbside pickup
of what?
$20 one time a year.
Of what?
Of all household chemicals, paints, batteries.
No fooling. For $3?
Yeah. Yeah, for $20.
Oh, $20.
That's on their website.
Now, wait a minute. It's on whose website, sir?
Okay, you go to arapahoegovernment.com.
Okay, so it's not Waste Management. I got to make that clear. I said Waste Management is not honoring the contract. You're telling me it's...
Well,
go ahead.
Waste Management is the one that's collecting the chemicals. So hazmat.
Why don't you put your wife on the phone, Harold? She's the one talking.
Right.
Go ahead. So then she can take her hand out of your mouth there. Go ahead. You're the puppet. I want to talk to her. Seriously. I'm not kidding. I mean, you're a great guy, but let me talk to the woman. What's her name?
Okay.
What's Harold? What's her name?
Her name is Diana.
Okay. Diana sounds cool. It was nice talking to you, Harold.
She's coming here.
Okay, cool. I'll talk to Diana. And then we'll just get it. Hi, Diana.
I apologize.
No, it's okay.
I apologize for interfering.
No, this is more efficient. I just need to know something. You're telling me this program is sponsored by the Southwest Metro Storm District, right?
Southeast. Yes, Southeast.
Oh, Southeast Metro Stormwater District. Okay.
Correct.
And they contract with Waste Management?
Yes.
Okay. And so
we got it through the information through also with hazmat. You know, we called the hazmat number, and that's what they told
all right.
us.
So who's letting you down in this equation? Who are we talking about?
Okay, I went to hazmat this morning and to deliver everything because they told us they would not pick up, even though it was advertised they would pick up in our area. They said it was a miscommunication, and they do not pick up in the Watkins area any longer.
Oh, you're in Watkins. Okay.
We're in Watkins.
And so they say, so what's the big deal? I mean, was it...
we went...
People make mistakes.
I went to hazmat this morning. I made an appointment at 10 o'clock as they instructed, got there, and all of a sudden they told me it was $172 to leave the chemical there.
Now wait a minute. They say for $20 they come and pick it up, and if you're not in the service area, I can see them wanting you to drop it off. But why would they raise the fee to $300?
I have no idea. It was raised to $172 was our total fee. Nothing ever was advertised at that amount. Once you get there, you're at their mercy because I'm 70 years old. I have bone cancer. They told me they can't take the paint. If I don't want to pay for the paint for them to take the extra poundage, I can go deliver it to paint stores throughout the area. They might take it.
Hey, wait a minute, Harold. I mean, Diana, this is a problem. So we got a number of different problems. The first one is you're telling me on the website they say they will take your chemical, they will pick up your chemicals, but they won't.
Yes, and curbside. They
Right.
said that, yes.
And second, it's a $20 fee. Daphne, I think, and if you want Deputy Dan to do it, just you're busy too, I think we should call this Southeast Metro Storm Water District. I'll tell you why. It's not so much the curbside thing, but why would they charge $172? And if someone is in their area, they pick it up for $20. I mean, what? Even if they're technically outside the area, why does the price go up? I wonder, is this a municipal service? Are you in this district? If you're not in the district, then I can see them charging you. Are you in the Southeast Metro Storm Water District?
Unincorporated areas. Yes, it says unincorporated areas.
Of what?
Of Arapahoe County. Of Arapahoe County.
And you're in
that's where
Watkins?
we are.
You're in Watkins? I didn't know Watkins is in Arapahoe County.
Part of it is, and that's where we live. It is.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. Okay, hold on. We'll get a call into him. I do believe that you have a good, I believe you have a good question. You do. Jay, what's going on with you? Jay.
Hey, I called you last year. I was wondering if there was a place that you know where under 16-year-olds can work.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my daughter found two places in Parker here, Freddy's and Culver's, so she's been working at Freddy's since July and working like crazy. She's not such a great student, but she loves to work, making lots of money. So my question is, traditionally I always file the taxes with the four of us. Does she file her own taxes now?
Yeah, when do people file?
She's 15.
What's the requirement? Do you know?
I think if it's a minimum amount of income.
It doesn't have to do with age.
Yeah, I think, and if she's working, she's
600,
making
isn't it?
wages. I think, yeah, it's not that much.
I thought it was $600.
Right.
She files a return,
Yeah.
but she doesn't have to claim herself. You can claim her.
Right.
Oh, okay, I can claim her?
Yes, you don't have to claim yourself, even if you're husband and wife and one is working full time. Right. You get to claim whoever, as long as it's truly a dependent, whoever you want. You can structure it any way you want. If you both were married filing separately, you could each take a child.
Okay.
You can divvy that up.
Okay, so I can claim her. We just do one tax form for the four of us usually. So I can claim her, but she still files what, the 1040 EZ form?
Yeah, of course. She has no deduction. She's just going to file.
Yeah, she'll get it. I mean, if she's a guy.
How much do you think she's?
refund,
How much do you think she's making?
By the end of the year, since the beginning of the summer, about $5,000-$6,000 probably.
Yeah, she definitely has to file.
Okay, so if anyone's interested in, I know Freddy's and Culver's high is under 16.
That's very cool. She has to have a certain number of hours, though, right? She can't work too long or too much.
I believe the maximum by state law is 18 hours a week.
What a cool go-getter she is, huh?
Well, she likes to work. She, like I said, her studies are average, but she does like to work.
Yeah, well, she's going to need. Well, school nowadays, I tell you, it's very important. Academics, even in the trades you wouldn't think it would be expected anymore. It really is. It really is. Kevin's got a business tax question. Go ahead, Kevin. What's happening?
Oh, hey, Tom. Great show, like always.
Thanks, man.
Sure. So, hey, my wife and I own a plumbing company, and we're in the highest tax bracket. And my tax bill's off the charts every year. It almost makes me sick.
Wow.
So I have buddies that have shops. We have shops in and off building and stuff like that. And I have other guys that own other businesses, and they do the craziest. And they say they form corporations, and they'll have their shop and they lease it back to themselves.
Yeah, all that's legal stuff. A lot of people do stuff like that. You have car dealerships that structure their used car dealership under the same building. In a different company, and the service department gets paid for refurbishing the cars, and they do all kinds of business structures to stay under a certain income for corporations, to keep lower tax brackets. There's all kinds of reasons.
When I hear these stories, I scratch my head going, the paperwork and forming corporate, or profits, does that now just make the individual wind up having to pay those profits because he's now leasing the shop back to himself?
Listen. In some cases, okay, if you're talking about your own company and you want to own the real estate and lease it to your business, as long as you do things as it would be normally, you get all the same deductions and all the same benefits. What you can't do in a close, they call it an arm's length transaction. If it's closer than arm's length, if you're connected and you try to overcharge for rent, that's where you would be challenged if you are overcharging to get a bigger deduction. Because think of how cool that would be. The business would get a giant deduction, and then you would make the income, but it's coming to you, and you may be able to stand the income and you know, write off some of the deductions. So the only thing, well, not the only thing, but one of the main things they look at is if it's real. That goes for wages, that goes for expenses, that goes for everything. But as far as people owning multiple corporations and leasing to each other and buying and selling to each other, and it's all legal.
And through your experience, I know you've had a lot of businesses and rental and properties.
Yes.
Does that really cut your tax rate down?
Yes.
Or are
Yes.
you just basically going around in circles getting profits?
It absolutely does. Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Multiple entities. Yes, because multiple entities give you multiple thresholds before certain things kick in. But you have to do it legally and ethically. Accounting for Success is a great company to help you grow. They're really good people. They call themselves navigators, and they really are. Accounting for Success, they're just good. I mean, it's the kind of company that they can handle big business, but I love that they help strategize these things. So you ask, can I do this? Can I do that? And they'll even have other suggestions. They go under now the name of Atlas as well, but if I were you, I would give them a call.
I hear you talk about them.
They're good people.
We'll try that out.
Accounting for Success. Daphne, when you get a chance, would you put their number up on the screen and I'll shout it out? I have to take a break. I'm way over time. Then we have an insurance question. We have somebody to answer that. We have all kinds of things going on. Please stick around, and we will take care of you. Approval reverse mortgages. Well, you heard me talk about mortgage. Reverse mortgages are changing drastically, okay? I'm not going to say they're a bad idea because they're a great idea for some people, a lifesaver. But in other cases, they're not so good. I don't want you calling someone and getting slammed into one if it's not good for you. Joan Sullivan is the one I trust to give you the lowdown. ApprovalReverse.com. ApprovalReverse.com. 303-771-3528.
This report is brought to you by Farmers Insurance.
We are big delay still on the north end of town. Some good news, though. That crash southbound I-25 at 104th, that's been cleared out of the way, so all lanes have reopened. Still residual backups to 120th. It should start to improve on that stretch. Big delays, though, on the northbound side of I-25 near the same section. Construction there has the right lane blocked at 136th, backups to 104th on that section, so just watch out for delays. The rest of the drive across town in fairly decent shape. The weather forecast, partly sunny later on today with a high near 56 tonight, partly cloudy overnight and a low of 33. Right now, mostly cloudy and 38. With your traffic and weather, I'm Pete Wagner, 630 K-How.
Do you want that Atlas number?
Travel changes, so do your Raleigh coming up in 8. It can help you assess whether you're ready. 5 seconds for Raleigh House.
Yes, dear. Yes, but I got it. I got their number, Atlas.
Raleigh House, Raleigh House, Raleigh House, Raleigh.
Okay, I'm sorry. The Raleigh House. When I say that name, I want you to remember this number because it's a very important number that can change the course of your family, your life, your relationship. 720-893-5559. Okay, why? Because the Raleigh House, an addiction treatment clinic, has gotten that number and that line just for my listeners who have questions and want information. The Raleigh House treats addiction. It's a recovery program located right here in Colorado. Speak with someone local about different treatment options. All evidence-based treatments designed to help reduce substance abuse. That's the Raleigh House. You can ask any question. How do I approach them? What do I say? Like, how much does it cost? Does insurance cover it? How long does it take? What do you do first? What do you do second? What can I do? Or if you're an addict and you want to call directly, you can. But this is mostly for those who have an addict in their life. Look, you might want to call a couple of you on a conference call. You may want to call with the speakerphone on your cell and just get around and ask the questions. It's not going to cost you anything. And it's truly confidential with no obligation. I really want you to do it, and I'll tell you why. If you have an addict in your life, and you know if you do, come on. Pain pills, alcohol, prescription drugs of other kinds, hard drugs, maybe meth, cocaine, call them. It will never get better on its own. 720-893-5559. 720-893-5559.
Do you owe the IRS? Then don't wait. Call Advanced Tax Solutions today. Located right here in Denver, they've helped...
Someone coming up after the break.
Be their next success story. Let them help resolve your tax problem. Advanced Tax Solutions.
Now this is bad form. We've had two now, right?
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
AM/FM radio.
Talk crap about it
It's free in your car, your kitchen, and your office. Broadcast radio reaches more adults, teens, and millennials. More of everyone, even more shoppers. Broadcast radio reaches 93% of Americans every week. That's bigger than TV, Facebook, and Google. If there are marketers with needs to reach new fans, visit iHeartMedia.com. From one place, everyone is listening. AM/FM radio.
Stand up.
Mark like flipped out
On Denver's talk station. 6:30.
He was like Optima came on twice. Throwing stuff like I told you. Okay, Mark, don't kill anybody.
Right now, Plumline. All right, this hour brought to you by Plumline Services.
Plumline for plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drains. And I know Jeff Belk, the owner. I've known him for so many years. He has grown this company into a really great service company. And here's what I like about him, okay? And I asked Jeff to do this years ago. And yes, of course, they want to get a shot at your business. But I promise you, it's for real. Free second opinions. You don't realize how much this has saved people when it comes to full furnaces they don't even need, or a water heater, or an electrical panel change. Now, if you want it, fine, okay? But at least get a second opinion. And Plumline Services will do that. You don't have to pay anyone to show up. They will come free of charge with no obligation. If you have a good deal, listen, it's in writing, right? If they can beat it, they will. If they can't, they can't. Give them a shot, and maybe you save money. I know you will on a furnace with like more than $2,000 in savings, $750 in utility company rebates, but I really love this $149 electrical one. It's find, fix, or free. Listen to how ingenious this is. For $149, you get an electrician to your home. So if you have a problem, you're going to get the problem fixed for $149, including parts, about 80–85% of the time. If it's major, you're not charged anything. So look at it this way. You always wanted to call an electrician and get something fixed. You know for sure you won't have to spend more than $150, $149. They come to the house, they look, and they say, okay, there it is. Boom, and they fix it. If, however, it's something major, and they can't do it for $149, and trust me, they'll explain it to you, then you get a free service call, but you get a full written report. Here's what's wrong. So no matter what, you're getting something of value with absolutely no risk. PlumlineServices.com, 303-586-1086, $149 fine, fix for free, 303-586-1086. Okay, I'm up. Let's go to the phones now. And I appreciate Brian Burns from Compass Insurance Group hanging out to answer this question from Jesse. And Jesse, go ahead. What's happening, Jesse? I haven't forgotten about waste management or that other thing. We're going to take that. But Jesse, what's going on with your insurance?
Hi, Mr. Martino. I
Yes.
appreciate you taking my call.
Yes,
yesterday was actually the first time I'd ever heard of you because I don't listen to the radio because I've become a product of my environment, so I'm social
Jesse,
media.
how long have you been in Colorado?
Sir, I moved here first in 2007. I've been in the Army for 16 years, and
Wow.
I was stationed here from 07 to 11, and then I moved back last May.
I'm always interested in how people find out. A lot of people tell me when they have a problem, people say, you got to call Tom Martino, and that's how they find out sometimes. And so I hope you like the show from here on out. But what's going on?
I absolutely do, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, what's going on with you?
What happened is last July, my husband and I had a pipe break in our front yard, which was about a foot outside of the foundation.
Okay.
And our home took on about 80,000 gallons in water over the course of a few days.
Okay. Were you out of town?
No, sir. But I was. But my spouse usually doesn't go down in the basement. He works nights, and usually we only go to the.
Okay, that's fine. So then what happened?
So we call USAA and explain the situation. and they told us that we're covered. They put us up in a hotel. I paid for everything out of pocket at first because it was taking them a while to get approval. So they reimbursed me for Mr. Reuter to come out and fix the problem, which was $1,800. They reimbursed me for around $3 or $4 grand in hotel fees.
All right, here's what I want to know, Jess, because this is really important, okay? I got Brian Burns from Compass Insurance, and he's going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Water damage is almost never covered under certain circumstances if it's a flood.
Right.
What is a flood? Yeah. A flood is, Brian, legally, what is a flood according to all insurance? Brian? So Brian is not there. So we have to get a hold of Brian. Hold on one sec. And I'll tell you this. Under the law, a flood is when water falls and hits a surface and flows in. But, excuse me, hits the ground, not a surface, the ground. If it hits, if it hits your porch and flows in, I got to know if that's a flood. But sometimes, what I'm saying is this. Floods are excluded in most policies unless you have flood insurance. It's that simple.
Sir.
So, are they saying it was a flood and not as a result of a pipe break?
No, sir. They're telling me that because it's not, it broke outside of the home.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It broke outside the home and the water flowed in. Get it? That's what they're saying. Do you understand what they're saying?
I do understand what they're saying, but my problem is that because it was after the curb stop, and my interpretation is that in Colorado Springs, that the city's only responsible to the curb stop, and then the customer's responsible from the curb stop.
You're not hearing me, Jesse, and I want to help you. I promise. No matter what, you're going to be helped, even if it's with information. I got Brian Burns from Compass Insurance Group, and what they do is all kinds of insurance for people, car and casualty, and home and business interruption. But here's what I want to say. Whose pipe it is not at issue, Jesse. Your insurance company is not saying because it broke outside the house, we're not covering it because it's not yours. They're saying the reason we're not covering it is because it turned into a flood. A flood is when water hits the ground and flows into the home. If that pipe broke right inside your wall or in the basement and flooded the basement, it would be covered. Is that right, Brian Burns?
Yeah, and I haven't heard him say that they're declining based off a flood, but I think you're right. When water hits the ground and then comes in the house, that's when they consider it flood.
Brian, I want to ask a technicality.
Sure.
If water hits my deck or my porch and flows in, is it a flood?
That's still, depending on where it comes in, I guess. But if it hits your deck and starts rolling into your house, that would still be considered groundwater coming in.
Even if it never hit, if rain came in,
hit pure ground. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Again, any kind of claim like that, I would absolutely submit and try to fight for it.
Right.
Hold on, it didn't hit, but they would try to get out.
Because I know when water hits your siding, and it's a bad storm, and it comes in through your windows or your window breaks, it is covered. And it did hit a surface, even though it's a vertical surface. Okay, bottom line, though, here's what I want to know. Jesse, did they deny the claim?
For 6 months, they covered it, and then they backed out, and they put it in writing that it was because the break was in the yard and not inside the
When you say they covered it, did they actually pay bills, or they just said they covered it?
Yes, sir. They actually reimbursed me to repair the pipe.
Do they want money back?
No, sir, and they never charged me the deductible. But they've given me over $5 grand to cover the expenses, and then in December,
they're covering the repair, and that they'll cover. That's not flood. They'll cover the repair because
they don't usually cover repair. They cover the damage caused by it. So
I'm sorry.
Maybe they were doing water backup. Maybe is what I'm guessing.
And see, this is my problem is they're backing out, and I literally had to gut my entire basement. So
no, Jesse, you're in a hard place. It's bad. I get you. This is a really big problem, and this goes beyond Brian, because I'm going to recommend something else.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to I'm going to ask that you call Freddie at Colorado Claims Consultants. He's a public adjuster. Now, let me tell you what they do. They do fighting the insurance companies. They are an adjuster, but they work for consumers, okay? And they take a percentage of whatever they get above your settlement. So you already got a $5,000 settlement. If they offered you that, that's what they'll do. And the number is 719-495-0772. I would start there because he will interpret that policy and look at what the damage is, and if there's any way at all to get around it or to get it, legally, he'll do it. He'll do it. Brian, other than that, I don't know what to say, Brian. This has happened so many times, right?
Yeah, and like I said, it could be that they covered them underneath the water backup coverage, which would be reasonable to be $5,000. I just wouldn't know without looking at the denial letter.
Now, listen, here's what you need to do also, Jesse. Consider looking at other insurance options, but Brian will give you information on this particular loss if you can get him the letter, and I'm going to put you in touch with Compass Insurance Group as well. So 2 experts, Colorado Claims Consultants. It'll cost you nothing, and then we're going to have you talk to Compass. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Hold on. Now, Compass Insurance, for those listening, 303-996-9000. Okay, I am thrilled to tell you about an affiliation that I have now. I made a mistake, okay, and it wasn't critical, but it was a mistake when I started looking into stem cells and stem cell therapy. Now I'm going to say, all of these amniotic fluids do have some benefit, but they're not living stem cells. They're not. And I have recently gotten a hold of a clinic with real MDs. They're not chiropractors, they're not nurses, real MDs and orthopedic doctors who use living stem cells, Centeno Schultz. That means they harvest them from your fat cells or from your bone marrow in a procedure. It's not painful, it's a little discomfort, that's it. And then they use those stem cells in the areas that you need. Back, hips, shoulders, knees, all your joints, hands. They can repair most ACL tears with a needle instead of a knife. Now I want to tell you something. Unlike these other clinics, this clinic uses guided injections. So they don't just blindly inject. They go into the joint and they guide it through imagery. They also use living stem cells. Please explore your options at a true medical regenerative clinic. I did my research. Centeno Schultz. Dr. Centeno was one of the original docs in the country to embrace stem cell therapy and to research it. 303-963-9201. 303-963-9201. Centeno Schultz.
From the L&L Heating and Air
Good news on the north end of town. That crash southbound I-25 at 100.
I'm waiting for Southeast Metro to call me back, Robert. They're me back.
However, northbound I-25.
Yeah, that was okay, that was the one with that $172 rate. If she's in the district, I don't know why they would charge her more than someone at curbside. Even if they don't want to pick it up, they're still in the district.
Where do I sign?
Said, I can't talk to you, you have to talk to management.
Partly cloudy in the
So I
overnight
gave her
hours.
the backline number.
Okay,
and then
no problem.
A bit warmer with a high near 66.
We're rocking. See that woman? I get that all the time. People say,
30K how?
Who's Martino?
This report is brought to you by
I'll
Farmers
call.
Insurance.
Most of the people that call me don't listen.
As the road you
Don't we say it? Most of the people we help,
Talking with a farmer's agent
they've heard of me, but most don't listen.
They talked to a friend or a neighbor and they said, well, you should call Tom Martino. That's all. 80%. I'd say.
Joe Lazara, right?
And get back to the law. Hey, boss, can I go right into your show too? And just that. Downtown's healthcare is Colorado's leader in...
Can we do it differently? Can we do the spot and then do some break music? It's better for me. So you cue me. How long? When?
Get back to a more active life of hiking,
In a minute or so?
just having more fun.
Do it in 15 seconds.
Thanks.
Sean Hannity will do the media's job. We'll point out their bias, and we'll give you information you're not going to get anywhere else, because that's what we do on this program.
First Talk Station, 630 KHOW.
If you've been an idiot and you drank and you drove, there's no reason. Okay, but it's too late. Joseph A. Lazara. Let's say you're falsely accused. It happens. Joseph A. Lazara, attorney at law. Let's say you learned your lesson and you want to plead guilty. You don't need an attorney, right? Wrong. Joseph A. Lazara. Why? To get through that system, you have a motor vehicle proceeding and you have a criminal proceeding. You have deadlines and you have forms to fill, and if you don't do it right, you could lose your rights as far as driving and anything else. So why don't you call Joseph A. Lazara? If you're accused of any crime, we deserve a defense, right? Joseph A. Lazara. 303-429-6200. He's on my referral list at referralist.com. I've known him for many, many years. He's a great guy, and he will give you personalized attention. 303-429-6200. All right, let's talk. And if you have any kind of tax problem, tax question, we have a few minutes left. I can get your calls in, or any consumer problem. Warren has a comment on the New York terrorist. Okay, Warren, what's happening?
Well, 60% of what's written in the Hadith, the Surah, and the Quran is about how to treat non-Muslims, or kafirs as they call them, and it isn't pretty. And when we're dealing with these sort of people,
have you ever read it?
With the worst.
I'm not sticking up for this for radical people who kill people, but have you ever read the Quran?
Parts of it.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't. I understand what you're talking about, where it talks about the infidels, but it mostly means God is going to do that. And
80% of the Quran is about Muhammad, not Allah.
Yeah, but it's about God doing away with the enemies, not taking matters into your own hands. But again, I can't say that's 100% accurate. I do know that it does have some pretty harsh words about infidels, but the Bible does too about sinners.
Well, you're right. Now, here's the deal. The Bible says a lot of bad things, like killing people that work on the Sabbath, stoning a woman that's not the virgin on her wedding night and leave her on her father's doorstep. There's no ministers, Baptist priests, or pastors preaching that stuff during church sermons that I know of anywhere in the civilized land.
But I don't know of. I don't think mainstream.
Plenty of imams, or whatever you call them, are preaching that crap all over the world to their congregations.
Well, anyway. Again, we're straying from my topics, but it doesn't. Warren, I invite, when people, here's what I say: when there are major events in the world, we don't ignore them if people want to comment. But Warren, so what are you suggesting? You can't outlaw religion, for God's sakes.
Well, we need to declare war on jihadist jihadist Islam that preaches Sharia.
You really okay. If there are churches preaching taking jihad into your own hands, I would agree with you. We would have to do something. That's inciting violence. There are, but I don't know of any Muslim churches or temples or whatever, mosques, that openly advocate that. I don't know of any that do that. You have these, you have these factions. You have these factions and these groups, Warren. But I really don't know of any that do that. That say, hey, let's do it. Let's. But and the same with the radical Christians. I don't hear them saying, burn down abortion clinics. I know that there are factions that will do stuff like that, but I don't think mainstream Islam preaches that. Anyway, Bill wants a comment. Go ahead, Bill. You comment. Bill?
Yeah.
What's your comment, sir?
Tom, it occurs to me that a lot of these terrorist attacks could be avoided because we have technology for cars that will stop cars before they hit pedestrians. Couldn't we?
Oh, cool! I see what you're saying.
Someone to.
My God, that would add cost per unit, of course.
What? It would save.
Well,
lives.
no, I understand that. The theory of it can save just one life, but I mean, it is. I don't know if it's reasonable to require every single car to have that technology in it.
Well, a truck, big trucks, and people that are going to plow into crowds of
It is an
pedestrians.
interesting topic for sure, because with the self-driving cars, they are programmed to avoid living things or people, even animals, and then they have to make judgment decisions on what to avoid, and it comes down to the numbers of people. So it is weird. It is, you're right, the technology is there. And you say, do I have to file taxes on Social Security disability?
Yeah, I'm disabled and I'm getting DSSI.
SSDI, right?
Yeah, sorry. And I was told I don't need to file anymore. But if that's true, what if I ever buy a house again and I don't have my income tax returns?
So typically they'll, if you're going to buy a house, they'll pull what's called an 8821, it's a tax information authorization form, and then they can verify with the IRS that you don't have a tax filing requirement, which would mean that you're compliant and you can do what you want as far as the tax situation goes.
Oh, perfect. That's what I need to know. I appreciate your help.
Well,
No
thank
problem.
you. Thank you very much. We are just flat out of time. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. If you have real estate you want to buy or sell, I can think of no one better than Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. 303-920-1622. It is impossible to do this as well as he can do. He never holds you to a long-term contract. And by the way, folks, referralist.com, where you'll find Frank Duran and other good people. Save all your problems for me.
When you think about home loans,
Think ideal home loans and the help.
God, was that busy enough people?
Application process. That really allows us to do an effective job to make sure we're doing what's in our best interest.
Call Brent Ivinson and his team at 303-867-7777.
I was looking up celebrities with tax debt. Tax problems. Oh my God, they're big. It's like Lionel Richie had a really big one. Did you know that?
Well, they all have, they just hand over to some guy. I don't think half of them know what the hell's going on. Leslie knew what was going on.
Leslie,
that guy was like, yeah, he's like, I'm going to get a...
Why did he think he could get away with it?
Makes no sense. We have millions of dollars.
Why don't you just pay tax? I don't want to pay I don't want to pay the man, Why Martha Stewart take
Well, Martha Stewart, that was just
trying to make money.
I don't know if she deserved prison.
She did that. I don't think
there are people that agree. They just want to make
She knew what she was doing. But yeah, they did want to make an example of her.
She didn't make that money.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
50 grand or something? She's worth billions.
No odors, no toxins.
Well, that's with the SEC.
I wouldn't have anyone else, and neither should you. Call 0